Hello, users. Welcome back to the Consulting Detective Network with robotspacer and Lamplight City. Every time I say that all in one way, I'm amazed, and I will continue to be amazed. So this is part 2 of this day's stream. We are investigating what seems to be a murder of mistaken identity, at least so far. Our victim was found in clothes that did not seem like his. Oh, I didn't watch the video.
Oh, I was gonna ask.
No,
Shoot.
Sorry. I will watch that tonight. He was wearing clothes that did not seem like his. He was murdered outside of a polling place that also happened to be a bar. We met a man high on opium. We met a man playing an organ that clearly is wearing a wig. And may, in fact, be hitting on his nephew's betrothed?
100%. I feel like that seems pretty clear.
That seems pretty clear. We met his nephew, who is a very large man, and he was boxing a robot. We found a gun in a storm drain. The poop gun. Mm-hmm. That had no poop, but it was still the poop gun.
We found the case.
Yeah, we found the case at the...
that gun belongs to...
Yeah, at the uncle's house.
Tom's room.
Singing Tom.
Gumley.
And Gascon. And that's basically where we're at. So let me get back over here. Let's take a peek at the notes.
What would you like to happen when that command is used, Hinton?
What would you like to happen when you use the Chom delay command, Hinton?
I think Crush says someone was wearing someone else's coat, and a rival of the coat owner pushed the wrong person into a pool in the middle of winter, and then that led to it being discovered that that person needed a kidney transplant. To clarify, this was after a comment that happened on a soap one time, actually.
I mean, this case has already been extremely referential. We found a very famous stuffed quote-unquote tiger. Look, depending on how many more episodes of this we have, I'll think about setting that up. Where do we go? We go try and snatch Tom's wig? Like, what?
There's got to be somewhere that's worth going back to, right?
Kind of almost want to ask. Let's go see if we can talk to the barmaid again.
Sure. Oh, update from Unsecret Crush. And then the boyfriend of the person who needed the kidney transplanted agreed to marry his ex in exchange for her kidney, even though he was still in love with the kidney needed.
What?
That sounds a little bit familiar, but...
I think someone doesn't know how love works. They sure as hell don't know how marriage works. Marriage license under duress are nullifiable in the U.S.
Oh, sewer guy's still here? Interesting.
Moment of your time, if I may.
Right, but make it quick.
Is it difficult being a sewer worker?
Difficult? Nah, it's a dream. Especially since they introduced all these steam tech treatments and purification whatsits. The only thing Cormac's got to do is check the little dial never goes into the red on old Belinda.
Belinda?
Aye, the purifier. She's a real special lady who's made Cormac's life so much brighter. Cormac makes sure to thank her each and every day.
I think that's fair.
We're talking to a lunatic.
Wasn't so easy a few years ago. Back then it was tapping on pipes all day.
Tapping on pipes?
To make sure they was flowing fine and not blocked. Cormac would take his little hammer and tap, tap, tap on the pipes to make sure they was ringing fine. You can imagine what that was like. Tap, tap, tap. Ring, ring, ring. All day, up and down, over and over. The tapping stopped, but the ringing never left. Still hears it to this day, Cormac does.
It's rough, buddy.
Do you have any opinions regarding the election?
Cormac hears lots of things about Atwood, but he's the one what's got this new machinery put into the sewer system. There's still a job for Cormac, so all that talk about being replaced by machines is just talk, for now. But Leroy says he wants to give the workers their fair chance, so Cormac can't argue with that. What about you?
I think Leroy will be a good prime minister.
Bah, they's all the same in the end, one way or another. No point worrying, says old Cormac.
Whoop. Smacked my mouse right off the tray.
Oops.
I wonder if you could tell me if you saw a man of this description at the Silent Raven on election night. He's tall, of strong build, with a beard or mutton chops, dressing all in black and possibly wearing a cap.
Oh, hi. Cormac remembers seeing a fella like that.
What was he doing?
Kept going in and out of the bar. When he was inside, he stood near the voting booths, hardly moving a muscle.
And when he was outside?
That, Cormac couldn't say.
Did you notice anything else about him?
Yes, Cormac noticed him come in and speak with Nicole, the barmaid, after the commotion outside.
Is that right? That's very interesting.
Cole, if you say that Tom came and talked to you after the gunshot.
Do you know anyone named Priscilla?
Nah, that's not a name Cormac knows.
Frankly, I'm surprised that's not the name of one of his tools.
Thanks for your time. I'll let you get back to your drink.
Miles, have you ever noticed that this Jimbo fellow fits the description of the man loitering outside the
Sure.
taxidermy shop? The barmaid told us she saw someone matching that description at the Raven on election night. Not only that,
Yeah, you said you
Priscilla
saw
just
someone,
happens to be
Priscilla,
the name of the ship
with actually that
Jimbo
description,
works on.
but someone
And the
talked
pistol
to you of
used
that
to murder
description.
Ronan has the initials JB etched on it. It could be a coincidence, but I think it's quite reasonable to consider him as a suspect.
Buddy, we're way ahead of you.
Yeah, that's super delayed.
Excuse me, barmaid?
Hi, what do you need?
Does the name Priscilla mean anything to you?
Nope.
You know that description I gave you earlier? Of the tall man in black?
Yeah, what about it?
I spoke with Cormac, and he told me he saw you speaking with someone fitting that description shortly after the murder occurred.
And you believed him? Cormac's a good sort, but he's not exactly reliable.
I'd say he's twice as reliable as you are. Now tell me the truth, or I'll have you in as an accomplice to murder.
All right, relax. I don't know the man by name, but he came to me after the commotion outside and paid me a few crowns to keep my mouth shut about it. I didn't ask any more questions, and I wasn't about to refuse some extra cash. That was that, I swear.
That's not good enough. I need some way to find this man. Is there anything else you can tell me?
Well, I did notice he had a scar on his left
Huh.
cheek. Kind of looked like a shepherd's crook. But that's all, really.
Suppose that'll have to do. I appreciate you taking the time to chat.
Yeah.
For those that are just joining us, I apologize if you see my mouth moving. I'm eating a cookie. Or a piece of a giant cookie.
Did Tom have a scar?
Find out.
He can fill out the Acme Detective Warren and a la Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah.
Snowflake.
I was so glad when you had a kick out of Carmen Sandiego in space. I'm so happy.
What a racket. He won't be much more help right now. Leave him to...
I want to, like, even just let me see the close-up, though.
I know, that's just why I just need to... Let me go pull on his hair.
He won't have anything...
Oh, I need to see Jimbo's face, too.
Leave him be. She's...
Damn it. Oh, wait, let's go talk to Connie. Scar, new updated information. Scar on face.
Right.
That's her apartment.
Right.
Can we talk for a moment, Upton?
Certainly. What's on your mind?
Can I try giving you that description again? I may have more details now.
I may
Sure.
have more details.
More details will definitely help. Could you describe the man's height and build?
He's tall, with a large build.
All right. What color is his hair?
Red.
Red.
I'm certain it's red.
All right. Do you know of any unique details that might make him easier to identify?
Scar.
Yes, he has a scar on his left cheek in the shape of a shepherd's crook.
Good. That will be helpful. All right, I'll put out the bulletin. Give me a moment. All right, the bulletin is out. I'll let you know if...
Upton, just got your bulletin.
Hello, Giles. Have you got something for me?
As a matter of fact, I've got someone in the jail fitting your description perfectly.
You don't say.
Yup. Name's Harvey Presser. Got picked up a couple of days ago.
Thank you, Giles. You heard the man, Fordham. You've got yourself someone to interrogate over at Bow Street.
Interesting.
Fordham, you look even worse than the last time I saw you.
We can't all manage to keep looking as good as you, Giles.
What brings you back?
I'm looking to speak with your prisoner.
Presser? I just got off the horn with Upton about him. Seems you're not the only one interested in finding the man.
Then I suppose it's lucky I got here first.
Suppose so.
What was he brought in for, exactly?
He's the suspected leader of a cooping gang.
What?
Makes me glad I didn't bother to vote. All those dirty politics are just a waste of time.
And people wonder why nothing in Parliament ever changes.
What was this guy's name?
Harvey Presser?
Harvey.
Harvey Presser, I presume.
Who's asking?
Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator.
What do you want from me?
Just a few minutes of your time. You don't have anywhere to be, do you?
Hardy ha. Ask what you want, but I'm not answering anything until I see a lawyer.
Do you recognize the man in this ferrotype?
Should I?
His name is Ronan Lespay. He was shot outside the Silent Raven on election night.
That's a real shame.
Are you saying you know nothing about the murder outside the Silent Raven on election night?
Not a thing. I've never even heard of the Silent Raven.
Is that right? Because I've spoken to at least 3 people who swore they saw you there that night.
Yeah, and you're not police, so that doesn't scare me. You can't do a thing about it.
This guy's starting to get on my nerves. There has to be a way to make him talk.
I hear you were arrested for leading a cooping gang. Is
There's
that
a
right?
cooping gang.
I don't have to tell you a thing. You're not a copper.
That's all the questions I have for now.
Good. Leave me in peace.
We didn't even get a new clue.
He's watching you. No point. No point.
Cooping is a common method of voter fraud. Cooping victims in the 19th century, cooping victims were kidnapped, drugged, or forced to drink and disguised several times in order to cast several votes.
Ooh.
So that's what our murder victim, whose name I can't remember, was doing.
Ronan.
Yeah, Ronan, thank you.
So, what if he was forced to be cooping and then was mistaken for Ned by Tom, and then Tom shot him?
Could be.
Let's
He won't have it.
Victims. What's that other spot on the map? There's so many spots. Which one?
This is the church. This is the opium den. This is Ned's residence. This is Puffin's residence. And you know what we didn't do? I have to keep going here. I don't mean to. We should review the case with Upton.
Yeah.
Since we can't talk to Abby. I did it again!
I think it's completely understandable.
Can we talk?
Certain.
I'm guessing you can't go over this case with me either.
I have to distance myself completely from this one. So when you figure it out, you'll need to speak directly to Mrs. Morgan.
Oh.
I can still try and help you if there's something specific giving you trouble, though.
Oh, okay.
Upton, what do you have on this Harvey Presser fellow?
Give me a moment, and I'll locate the arrest report. Here we are. He was picked up in a bar in Chumley after being identified as the leader of a cooping gang by one of his fellow gang members.
So
Did
much for
Ronan
loyalty.
identify him?
Anything else about him?
Not much besides his address.
That might be worth looking into.
It's 5885 Riverview Road, right near the asylum.
Ah, wonderful. Maybe afterwards you can drop by and pick out a room.
I'll let you get back to work.
And you'd better do the same.
Yeah, the bird is a puffin.
Just a moment.
Please don't let this be Priscilla. That would be too on point.
What do you want?
Ooh, she doesn't look like the type to take any guff. Better watch yourself, Miles.
Mrs. Presser, I'd like to speak with you about your husband.
Well, he's not here right now. He's been away for a few days, actually. Who are you exactly?
My name's Miles Fordham. I just have a few questions. I promise this won't take long.
All right, come in. But try and keep it down. My daughter isn't feeling well, and I don't want her being disturbed.
Let me just delete some saves. We haven't done anything. Dane, I don't want to. We'll go back and delete stuff from 3. So I've been thinking about this when I was outside earlier today, and I am really starting to worry if we've cut off an avenue of dealing with Bill by pissing off the first accused parent. Although maybe it has an alternate route through the Ghost Hunters Club. But I was just thinking, like, that's probably something on the nose that they could help with.
Right.
Maybe not. Who knows? It's just interesting that we completely cut ourselves off from that avenue.
Yeah. We still solved that case, though.
We did.
Mrs. Presser,
Yeah, what?
do you know a man named Ronan Lespay?
Never heard of him.
And you've never seen the man in this ferrotype?
Nope. And I'm glad I haven't. Looks like a real pushover.
What does your husband do for a living, Mrs. Presser?
Harvey? He's a traveling salesman. Sells steam-powered cleaners like the ones in the corner there.
Oh?
Doesn't make much money on account of most people being afraid of steam tech these days. But Harvey tries his best to provide for me and little Mary. He's a good man. The job takes him out of town for days at a time, but we get by.
And that's all he does?
What are you asking? You know something I don't?
No, not at all. I was just curious.
Oh, look, another husband keeping secrets from his wife. There are a copper a dozen around here, it seems.
Shut up, Bill. Well, we have something that we can blackmail Harvey with now.
So what do you do while your husband's away?
Hang on there. What are you playing at? I'm a married woman.
I merely wanted to know a bit more about you, that's all. I meant no disrespect.
Is that your game? Asking innocent ladies about themselves so you can have your way?
What?
She doesn't have to worry about being mistaken for innocent, that's for sure.
No, you know what? Just forget I said anything. Is your daughter all right?
She's just come down with a bit of something. This stew I'm making will put her right again. I've been giving her regular doses of Pink Bladder's Miracle Tonic, too. I'm sure she'll be back to tearing the house down again in a matter of days. Ticks after her father, that one.
I wonder if Pink Bladder's Miracle Tonic is their version of Pepto.
Are you pleased with the
Right.
election results?
Yeah, I'm glad that no good high muckamuck Atwood was voted out. Maybe now they can finally get to work on that bridge to Gascon we've been promised for so long.
But won't Leroy's opposition to Steam Tech be bad for your husband's business?
Maybe, but Harvey's always managed to land on his feet. If it comes down to it, I'm sure he'll be able to find a new job in no time. I was never too keen on him selling those contraptions anyway. It'll be a relief to get them out of the house.
I don't have any more questions for you, Mrs. Presser.
Good.
Jeez.
Some of those modern steam cleaners, if they use them in this place, they clearly aren't worth a damn. Seems to be a notice from the bank threatening to foreclose on this place if they're late on their rent payment again. It seems peasant soup is on the menu tonight. Presumably that goes into the presser's bedroom, or it might be a closet, or both. She doesn't look so good. A man's coat. Seems Harvey wasn't expecting to be out for very long. A man...
I was hoping we could dig through the coat.
Hinton asks, is your imaginary friend making fun of poor people? Yes.
Our imaginary friend makes fun of everybody. Including poor people. Let's go talk to Harvey.
A few more questions for you, Mr. Presser.
Whatever you say.
Sounds like a completely different voice than he had before, but okay.
I had a little chat with your wife. You have a lovely family.
Mildred? How did you...
I may not be with the police anymore, but that doesn't mean I can't still get the information I need.
You didn't tell her about me being in jail, did you?
Don't worry. It was quite obvious your wife has no idea what you're involved in. As a man who values discretion, I thought it best not to shatter her illusions.
That's awfully decent of you.
Of course, I might change my mind, unless you start to cooperate.
I have to say, Miles, you've become a real natural at this tough cop role.
All right, fine. I'll talk. Just leave my family out of it.
Do you recognize the man in this ferrotype?
Yes, I do. That's Mr. Lespay.
And how is it you know him?
I was assigned to watch him and then pick him up on election night.
Assigned? By whom?
My employer.
Oh
I'd really
no, is that
rather
why
not
he won by
name names,
74%?
Mr. Fordham.
I don't care about your employer. What I care about is what you were doing with Mr. Lespay.
Well, it was a cooping scheme. He was one of the people I was told to pick up.
Tell me what you know about the murder outside the Silent Raven.
The most important thing I can tell you is that I didn't kill him.
Do you know who did?
Not a clue. I was inside the bar when I heard the gunshot. I went outside to see what had happened and found Lespay on the sidewalk.
And what happened next?
What do you think? I panicked. He was in my care. I wasn't expecting anyone to get killed.
I think Mr. Presser has a wildly different definition of the word care.
I went inside and gave the barmaid 10 crowns to keep her mouth shut. Clearly, that was money misspent. Then I went back home, told my wife I was going away on a business trip for a few days just in case. Good thing I did, too. I might get out of this with her none the wiser.
What makes you so sure they'll let you out?
Me, I'm just a small fish, but I could talk and talk about whales. That's valuable information.
Quite the shrewd negotiator, this one. I think his skills have been wasted.
Is this your first time in jail?
Yeah, actually. Suppose you think I'm just some criminal scum, born for the gibbet? I'm not a bad man, Mr. Fordham. I just made some mistakes. You've met my family. I'd do anything for them. Anything.
I suppose no good deed goes unpunished.
You can say that again.
Tell me more about this cooping scheme.
I got paid to find men to vote for Atwood. Simple, really.
Oh.
Once I found a good mark,
Okay.
I followed him a bit, knocked him out, then took him to the coop, a little room I rented near the Raven. I had about 5 men on election night, including Lespay. Got them all liquored up and walked them over
I'm
to the
surprised
polls.
it's not for Leroy.
Once each of them voted, we'd walk back over to the coop.
I wonder if it would have been
I'd change their
Leroy if we had
clothes,
voted for Atwood.
maybe give them a fake beard, and walk back for another vote. Did it for myself, too, so people would be less likely to notice. Kept it up for a few hours, until the murder.
That's all the questions I have for now.
Good. Leave me in peace.
Chivo.
Yeah. So the problem is now,
Mm-hmm.
that means that the man that they've seen looking around and being suspicious and everything like that. Completely unrelated to the murder. So the red hair and hat...
That's what he's telling us.
Yes. Red hair and hat, potentially unrelated.
I honestly don't know what to think right now.
Oh, but we know Tom was there that night. Because the barmaid told us that.
Yeah.
Let's go back to his office.
So...
I don't know what I was thinking about there.
How do we first learn about the description of the guy that we thought was the killer?
The clerk at the taxidermy shop. Dude was standing outside.
Right.
Which, if Mr. Presser was looking for people to, like, abscond with, he probably would be casing their place of employment. Yeah, so the gun's Tom's. We know that. I guess we don't want to say we know that. It is extremely likely that the gun is Tom's.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like the correct shape to fit the case. Presumably, if we could check it, it would fit in it. And it's got the initials on the gun match the manufacturer name in the case. So,
hey, I was right. Yeah, I don't think there's any way that the gun's not Tom.
Yeah.
I think now we just have to figure out a way to pin it on him.
Edwards, do you know much about the effects of opium?
Quite a great deal, unfortunately. It's all the rage these days. Most people use it to calm the nerves or relieve pain, but it's highly addictive and has numerous adverse effects.
Such as?
It depends, really. Most common are sweating, nausea, memory loss, or blurred vision. But more serious cases can lead to hallucination, violent mood swings, coma, or even
We're gonna
death.
go talk to the...
I just had a case in here a few weeks ago who died from an opium overdose. It wasn't pretty.
Doesn't sound like it. Thanks for the information, Edwards.
Anytime.
I wonder if we're gonna talk to the opium den
I'll be
matron
going now, Edwards.
Take
to
care,
confirm
Fordham.
that Tom had been on opium that night.
Yeah.
Things are starting to fall into place here, Miles. Between the letters, the missing gun, and what Edwards told us about the effects of opium, I think we have enough evidence to consider Puffin a suspect.
Sure do.
Definitely.
What are the odds that our main guy is actually going to the whole time? Low? But I guess it's possible. Don't know how, but like, he may be still sleeping from the opening scene. No, that was Bill. We tell Ned?
He hasn't got...
Nope. I guess my question is, like, do we have enough to say it was him? I guess the murder weapon is his.
Yeah, like, I think we've got plenty of evidence.
Do we go...
Like, we know why Ronan was there. We have a motive for Tom wanting to kill him, and we have the evidence that it was his gun. And, you know, we found that gun at the murder scene.
Okay. Let's go accused Mr. Puffin.
Keep up the good work, Upton. I might have some more questions later.
Oh, no, that's right. We got to go talk to his sister. To accuse. Which is weird, but sure.
Have you got time for a few more questions, Mrs. Morgan?
Yes, of course.
I've completed my investigation of your brother's murder, Mrs. Morgan.
You have? Oh, that's such a relief to hear. Who killed him?
Self-based.
It was Tom Puffin, choir master at St. Denis Cathedral.
What? But why would a member of the church do something like that?
Puffin is in love with his nephew Ned's fiancée, Priscilla. He's even gone so far as to intercept their letters and write to each of them under... Mr. Puffin is also an avid opium user and is prone to fits of rage as well as hallucinations. The evening of the murder, Puffin was at the Silent Raven, and in his opium-induced fog, mistook your brother for Ned. He had his pistol on him, and his rage and jealousy got the better of him. Poor Ronan was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And what about the clothes he was wearing? Or why he was in Chumley in the first place?
I'm afraid your brother fell victim to a cooping gang. They dragged him to Chumley and forced him to vote multiple times. He was wearing someone else's clothes as part of a disguise.
My poor brother. So what happens now?
Now, I'll inform Miss Upton of my findings, and she'll send an officer along to arrest Puffin. From there, justice will be served accordingly.
I see. Thank you for your help, Mr. Fordham.
Chumley.
Oh, I was like, oh no, did it say wrong? No, mistaken identity is
Tom
explaining that
Puffin?
Yes, may I help you, officer?
You're under arrest for the murder of Ronan Lespay.
What? Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, God. So it wasn't a dream.
Come along, sir. We need to question you at the station.
God
You know,
damn it, Miles.
You've been coming in here a lot lately, but you've never looked quite this glum. What's going on?
I've bungled things pretty badly at home. Been staying with a friend the past couple of weeks.
I see. What happened?
I haven't been honest with my wife. Coming here and drowning my sorrows hasn't really helped, oddly enough. And yet, it's all I can do to keep from going crazy.
You know, Miles, I've seen and heard a lot of things over the years. Some of the stories would turn your hair white. But through it all, I've come to learn one thing. It's usually not too late to make things better, but only if you let yourself try.
Go talk to Addie.
Thank you for the advice, Patrick.
All I can do is give it, Miles. Whether you choose
Go
to
talk to
take
Addie.
it or not is entirely up to you. Now, would you like another gin?
No, thank you. This time I really do need to be on my way.
Why would... nope,
I should
not
go
even a
and see what
choice.
my wife is doing.
I see. Well, have a good night, Miles. And good luck to you.
Who in the ether?
Why would you even give me that choice?
Miles? This is a surprise.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
How
Yikes.
to get punched in the face.
Yikes.
Addie, it's so good to see you. I've been such an idiot lately.
Well, I'm glad you can admit to it. Would you like to come in?
Very much.
Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Which would you prefer? I know what I prefer.
I don't know, like, it seems like we need to tell her the truth, but maybe it is appropriate to apologize first.
Sure.
I'm worried that if we choose that, we don't get to do the last one. Because this is a video game and not real life. So, if you disagree, then feel free to choose the last one. I mean, all of these are good, honestly, but...
I don't want to put it to a poll.
Second one.
I wanted to make amends for how I acted when we last spoke. I'm sorry I put you through that. I was an absolute ratbag, and I hope you can forgive me.
I still don't appreciate you keeping things from me. Where have you been all this time, anyway?
Upton's been letting me stay with her.
Better than sleeping under a bridge, I suppose.
Yes, although I don't know how much longer I can impose on her generosity.
Are you asking me to let you come back here?
Yes, but I know I need to earn it. That's why I'm finally going to tell you the truth.
Miles, what are you doing? You know this is a terrible idea.
The truth?
About why I've been acting the way I have been since Bill died.
Well, go on. I'm listening.
Don't do it, Miles. You know it's a one-way ticket to Riverview if you do.
I've been hearing Bill's voice ever since he died.
Fordham, what is wrong with you?
His voice?
I can't believe this! You've just destroyed your
Shut up,
life!
Bill.
I hope you realize that!
Yes, in my head, at all hours. That's why I was taking the soporific. It was the only way to keep him quiet. Or so I thought. Turns out that alcohol has the same effect.
What does he say to you?
The type of things he'd say when he was alive. Snarky comments, inappropriate jokes. Mainly he nags me to find the flower shop burglar. He thinks doing that will let him find peace and move on.
I see.
I told you you'd think I was crazy.
Don't be ridiculous, Miles. It's nothing like that. It's just, I wish you had told me sooner is all.
Damn it, Miles.
But I was afraid.
Well, I'm glad you finally trusted me. You know, you could have all along.
So, you're all right with it?
It is quite a lot to take in. I think I'll need some time to mull it over. But what matters now is that we can work through this together.
I understand. Well, I should...
Lovely to see you too, Miles.
Sorry.
Perhaps I'll stop by again next week?
Or sooner, if you'd like.
Sure. Like the men in white coats aren't gonna have you
Shut
taken
up, Bill.
away by then.
Right. I'll see myself out then.
Good night, Miles.
Yeah, I got a trophy. Got a trophy for telling your wife the truth.
Fordham, wake up.
Uh-oh.
He just leapt over the side. I don't... Oh, Upton. What's going on?
Goodness, Fordham. You look terrible. Is everything all right?
Just had some trouble sleeping. More than usual.
Well, I hope you've rested enough, because I've got something very important to show you.
Oh, wonderful. If we're sharing information now, are you going to tell Upton about me as well?
What is it?
There's been a murder.
I assume this one is special somehow, or you wouldn't be bringing it to me.
I thought that great detectives never assumed.
There are exceptions to every rule.
Anyway, you're right. The victim in question is a member of Parliament.
Oh.
A man named Percival McDonough, to be precise. But this is the real corker. The murder is clearly the work of the Justice Killer.
The Justice Killer? Is that the mass murderer I've been hearing about?
The very same.
Why Justice Killer, though?
It's part of his modus operandi. He kills his victims with a single gunshot to the head, then writes the word justice somewhere in the room with the victim's blood.
Talk about melodramatic.
The police are stumped. This is the killer's 5th victim, and there isn't a single lead.
So you want me to investigate?
Not just yet. First, I need you to look at these sketches.
You took crime scene sketches from the department?
Of course not. I made copies with the station's Pharaoh duplicator. These
You're
killings
smart.
need to stop, and I believe you can succeed where the department has so far failed.
So, what am I looking for?
The police went over each crime scene with a fine-toothed comb and turned up practically no useful physical evidence.
I have a random thought,
I
but I'll
want a
wait for them
second
to
opinion
finish.
from you. If you can find some sort of link between them, it might be possible to track this monster down.
All right, let's see what we can see. Maybe there's something that Snelling's finest overlooked.
Jeez.
Here are the 4 sketches. Have a look at them and see if you notice anything that might help us find this maniac.
It sounds fun. What was your thought?
So, what if Bill in our head's not real? But at the time of his death, his soul did transfer into somebody. And he is murdering people that he thinks is related to his own death. Again,
That's an
I don't think it's
interesting thought.
real. I don't think there's anything that really points to that. It's just my brain going like, well, this would be an interesting twist that I could see them laying the groundwork for.
Maybe you can...
No.
My random thought with no basis whatsoever at this point is that this could be like a copycat murder since it's now like in the press.
That's very true.
If only you hadn't told Adelaide about me, I might share my thoughts with you. As it is, you're on your own.
Okay. Whatever. Fuck off, Bill.
What's the point? It's not like you're actually going to be able to investigate this case. Whoever drew this was a hack. That looks more like a piece of toast than a flower.
Is that glasses on the table?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't look at anything else. I bet you they're all gonna have a flower.
Yep.
Oh, were you hoping for some witty insight? Shame, because you're not getting any. I'm sure this is
That's
terribly relevant, but I've
pose.
got nothing to say about it. I don't feel like looking at dead bodies right now. Is there something more exciting we could be doing? Oh,
Very neatly written for writing in blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dead. Big deal. I'm really not in the mood to be analyzing crime scene sketches right now. Boring.
So...
Wait, what's that? I see an important clue. Just kidding. Maybe you should write crazy over your bed. Boring, just like everything else in this sketch.
Interesting.
Oh, what? You actually found something without my help? I'm shocked.
Upton?
What is it, Fordham?
About those crime scene sketches.
Yes?
I think I found a connection.
I knew you
How
would.
could the cops not notice the flower?
There's a single flower at each crime scene. They look deliberately placed.
There is? Let me have a look. You're right. One lily at each scene.
Wait, what did you say?
These flowers, they're lilies. Easter lilies, I think.
I don't believe it.
Upton, this is incredible. This is the lead I've been searching for.
What? You mean for another case?
The flower shop burglar. He was stealing Easter lilies. And I distinctly remember him saying something about his desire to uphold justice. At the time, I thought it was just the rambling of a lunatic, but now it seems so obvious.
So the flower shop burglar is the justice killer?
It seems too much of a coincidence otherwise.
Well, then that's wonderful. You can kill two birds with one stone. Excellent work, Fordham. I knew you could do it.
What exactly are the details regarding this justice killer?
The killings began a few months ago, and so far he's claimed 5 victims.
Oh, that's
The
interesting
department wanted
timing.
to keep this information out of the public eye to prevent a panic, but word has gotten out. On the bright side, it makes your involvement in the case much less suspicious.
Was that the past 4 months?
Yes. Past couple months is what she said, I think.
Okay. What was interesting about the timing?
That's when Bill died 2 months ago.
Okay.
What can you tell me about the
Or
previous
3 months ago, I
victims?
think?
4 men from Chumley: Hannibal Kirkland, Reggie Willingham, Ennis Bowditch, and Burley Cause. No known connection between any of them aside from the borough they lived in. I have copies of the police reports from each of the crime scenes. Go ahead and take them.
Thank you, Upton. What are the details regarding the killer's latest victim?
As I mentioned, the victim is Percival McDonough, a member of Parliament. He was found this morning by his secretary in his office. I expect the official investigation is still underway.
So the killer managed to get into the Houses of Parliament. No easy feat.
You can say that again. It's the killer's first high-profile victim.
I'll answer that in a
He's
second,
getting
culinary.
bolder.
I suppose I'll have to drop by and see for myself. Everything all right with you?
Oh, I'm getting by. I expect things go back to normal once this killer is caught.
I haven't worn out my welcome here yet, have I?
No, you're still tolerable. But when was the last time you washed your hair?
You're starting to sound like Adelaide. I should get back to it.
Not a bad idea.
Right. I think I have enough information to get started. I think I'll begin with...
Odd. I wasn't expecting company.
Addie? No.
Chief Snelling?
Uh-oh.
Upton, we need to talk. Fordham, I should have guessed I'd find you here.
Oh, it's on to us.
Ah, Chief Snelling. What a pleasant surprise.
I'm equally pleased to see you, Fordham. Although having you here does save me a bit of trouble.
Trouble?
Those are some rather interesting decorations. Would either of you care to explain how they got here?
And once again, the jig is up. I hope you can talk your way out of this one, too.
Cheese it. I like the first one.
I brought them here, after I made duplicates and took them from the police department.
Nice try, Fordham, but I know for a fact that isn't true. The ferroduplicator makes a report of every employee who uses it, as well as what was copied. A rather useful feature for instances such as these. Wouldn't you agree?
These gadgets are going to be the undoing of us all.
In any case, I did some digging and discovered some intriguing information. Upton, why have you been passing on classified police
Because I've
information
solved
to
every
Mr.
damn
Fordham?
case you had over the past month.
Because he's
Seriously,
the best
dude.
detective you ever had on the force, and you know it.
Is that right? Personally, I don't consider getting your partner
Snelling's
killed
gonna be the murderer.
mark of a great detective. But
Awkward.
what's done is done. Constance Upton, your employment with the New Britannia Police Department is hereby terminated.
But
I should add that it's only because of your 25 years of dedicated service that I'm not pressing charges against you. But as for you, Fordham, I have enough evidence to place you
Actually,
under
his voice
arrest
is even kind of
for
close.
obstruction of justice and interfering with police investigations. Do you have anything to say in your defense before I take you in for questioning?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. I know who the Justice Killer is.
Fordham, if this is your idea of a diversion...
It's true. I found a link in the sketches of the crime scenes.
All right, let's hear it then. What do you think you found?
I'll tell you if you promise to let me take the case.
Out of the question, Fordham. This is a police matter.
And the police haven't made progress in months. Fordham figured it out in a matter of minutes. Admit it, Snelling. Fordham is your best shot at finding the killer. Are you gonna let your personal differences put the people of this city in danger?
Fine. I'll let you continue to operate as an assistant in this case, if you have actually found something of value. Now, what is this link?
He leaves a single Easter lily at each crime scene. The same type of flowers the burglar and the chum was stealing.
I see. A tenuous link, but plausible.
He's totally the killer.
I'll give you until tomorrow afternoon. If you haven't come up with anything, I'm throwing you in jail.
Sounds fair to me.
At least it's plausible at this
And don't
point.
get any clever ideas about leaving town either.
Come now, would I do something like that?
Fordham, it seems there's no telling what you might do. I'm probably a fool for not clapping you in irons right here and now. When you have something to report, come find me in my office. Don't make me regret this.
Well, that went better than I expected.
I'm sorry, Connie.
Except you're still fired. I didn't have a chance to get him to change his mind.
We'll worry about that after you catch the killer. In the meantime, I could use a drink. I'll see you later, Fordham.
Well, better get to work then. The clock is ticking.
So, Culinary asked a question of, did you and Bill thwart his first murder? No, but I'm pretty sure we thwarted his place of getting the Easter lily.
Right. Why Easter lilies, though? Do we
I don't think we have any
know
idea.
anything at all about that?
I don't think so. I think that is something we are going to have to find out.
Right.
Atwood under fire for alleged cooping scheme. More controversy has emerged after Hart Leroy's landslide victory. Man, this is with them trying to cheat the election, too. Landslide victory against Herbert. I really do wonder if it would have been different if we had chosen Atwood. Interesting. Against Herbert Atwood, as accusations of a pro-Atwood cooping scheme has emerged. Allegedly, Atwood's campaign hired men to find unsuspecting victims, supply them with alcohol, and then force them to vote multiple times in disguise in order to increase Atwood's chances of re-election. The victims were kept in a small room, referred to as a coop, and forced to change clothes several times in order to vote repeatedly. Once they served their purpose, victims were left in the back alleys around the city, dazed and confused. Despite the efforts, it was not enough to secure Atwood's victory. The information comes from the alleged leader of a cooping gang who agreed to talk. Oh, good on Harvey. Citizens fear mass murder. The general mood around New Britannia is one of caution and fear, especially in Cholmondeley. In Cholmondeley. 4 victims have so far been claimed by the so-called justice killer, with no apparent motive or link between them. What makes it so frightening, said Chumley resident Simon Banks. You have no idea what's going to be next. Gotten to the point where I stopped sweeping chimneys before sundown. When reached for comment, the New Britannia police offered no new information, but encouraged citizens to remain vigilant and avoid answering doors for strangers. Rumor of a nightly curfew has been swirling, but no confirmation has been given. Anyone with information regarding the identity of the killer is strongly encouraged to contact the New Britannia police. Can you take the next two?
Yep. Arrest made in tragic election night murder. Ronan Lespay, an employee of the Gripsholm taxidermy shop, was murdered outside the Silent Raven pub in Chumley on election night. According to New Britannia police, the person responsible was Tom Puffin, choirmaster at St. Denis Cathedral. According to an unconfirmed source, Puffin mistook Lespay for his nephew, whom he had planned on killing, and accidentally murdered Mr. Lespay instead. He was allegedly under the influence of opium. Puffin was arrested on the charge of murder in the second degree and is set to stand trial in November. Lespay was described by his sister as full of life and an avid fan of books and travel, although Mr. Lespay himself had apparently never left Vespuccia. Contributions to pay for Mr. Lespay's funeral expenses are being accepted. Continued on page 8. Gascon spiritualist arrested for fraud. Angela Maxwell, the leader of a spiritualist group in Gascon, known as the Spectre Society, was arrested yesterday on charges of fraud after an extensive undercover operation by the New Britannia police discovered that she was exploiting her clients and robbing them of their money. Detective Lester Barnett attended several meetings under an assumed name during which he observed Miss Maxwell's ruse. She would claim her client was cursed, then offer healing services for a fee. The clients would then pay exorbitant amounts of money over a period of time to be cured. A representative of New Britannia Police offered this warning: "We urge the public to be extremely wary of anyone claiming to be able to communicate with spirits or deceased loved ones. In reality, they often just prey on the grief-stricken and vulnerable."
He seemed pretty kind to us. That's unfortunate. All right.
I need to go blow my nose real quick.
I actually need to go get a drink, so we will take a non-be right back pause and be right back.
Okay. Yeah. Oh no. I heard you. Wait, now I can't hear you. still muted.
Try that again. Hello?
No, I can hear you. Can chat hear you? Can chat hear me?
Okay. That's fine. Hey, we got captions for a reason. So I can't stand dealing with the lawn, but it's important to deal with. I have 4 different mute buttons right now, and so it's a process.
Too many.
But we have to deal with the lawn for 2 reasons. Number 1, ticks and fleas are a problem, and I do not want to ever put Bee or Willow's health at risk. So keeping the lawn low is a must. And we care for a lot of neighborhood cats, so I can't just let the front go to waste for the same reason. I don't want to say to waste, to nature. So I am replacing the front lawn with clover, mini clover specifically, that grows to about 4 inches tall. And it took about 7.5 hours since I woke up.
And now you're streaming?
Yeah, I'm having a good time. This is relaxing.
That's good.
Culinary Bee. Bee is napping in her crate, and Willow is chewing on a oversized Durachew bone that I got her outside of her crate right now.
Nice.
Willow has the chompers, and so I have to get her one size larger than her size, otherwise she will outright bite through it. But yeah, so that was 7.5 hours, and that is why I was late, because I was basically making a tornado of soil in the front yard as I prepped everything. But it is there, all the seed is placed, the water is down, and hopefully it'll work. If it doesn't, I'm going to make our front yard like we live in Arizona and just replace it all with stone and shrubs or something like that. Okay. Why can we go to the police station? Oh, probably to report in. I guess we're going to Parliament.
Ooh. Yikes.
Fordham, what brings you to this delightful spectacle?
Hello, Edwards. I'm investigating the Justice Killer. I believe I've got a very promising lead.
I like this guy.
Edwards is good.
Orders from Snelling, but I thought he was just pulling my leg. Feel free to have a look around. I'm just writing up the notes from my initial examination of the body, so I'll be happy to share my findings.
Good. I'll just get started then.
Yeah, Culinary, I read you. So Culinary in chat is saying, Lily got too crafty with the treat toys and learned how to get the whole puck out. Had to take those away so she doesn't choke, because she will try to swallow it whole. Yeah, Willow.
Oh, jeez.
Willow is very food focused. She's actually very polite. Hello, Bee. She's very, very good. So she's super food focused, but not like aggressive about it. She just gets super excited if you have any food available for her. And then will like just hyper fixate on the food, but she won't bite anyone. She doesn't. She is the very much a gentle giant. What are you doing, Bee? Oh, he's just hanging out. All right. Okay. So, justice.
Looks pretty fresh. I wonder what the killer uses to write with.
Yeah. You carry around a paintbrush or something? Like, that's very specific, like, on par.
Nothing but a bunch of boring documents. You'd think
That
you
was
could
weird
have at
pathing.
least been
Oh, we didn't want to
considerate
walk
enough
on the
to keep
blood.
something scandalous in here.
Huh.
Odd. The page for this month has been torn out. You suppose Edwards might know anything about that? The former Percival McDonough, being a good politician.
Got a moment, Edwards?
Of course. What's on your mind?
So, what was found at the crime scene?
A dead body.
Edwards.
Hey, just trying to lighten the mood a bit. Anyway, there was also the word justice written in blood, as you can see on the floor there.
Is that all?
What more do you need? All the pieces are in place. This is the work of the Justice Killer.
Did you find an Easter lily anywhere?
An Easter lily?
Yes. The Justice Killer leaves one at every crime scene.
Is that right? I never noticed.
Neither did anyone else, apparently.
So how does leaving a lily at the scene of the crime figure into all of this?
I'm still trying to figure that out, but but I think it might be important to understanding his motive.
Well, be sure to let me know if you do figure it out. The thought process of killers is a twisted, curious thing.
What did your examination of the body turn up?
Apparent cause of death was a single gunshot to the head, exactly like all the other victims. The bullet is still lodged in his brain. I'll remove it once I transport the body back to the mortuary.
Anything else?
No personal effects of note, just a folded up piece of paper in his breast pocket. It's blank, so the police weren't interested. I assume you aren't either.
Never assume, Edwards. I'll take it if you don't mind.
Be my guest.
Did the police manage to learn anything during their investigation?
Not much beyond what I've already told you. I think they were planning on speaking to the victim's wife, though.
Did you get the address?
I did, as a matter of fact. 1820 Kent Place.
Now we get to deal with the grieving widow. Hopefully the officers who delivered the news got the worst of it.
You know, I hadn't thought about this, but we didn't need to tell Agatha or Addie. I wonder if Bill's interaction during the beginning of this or overall would be very different if we...
What's your take on this whole justice killer situation?
It's giving me a lot of extra work, let me tell you. We haven't had a serial murderer in a long time. Not since that fellow who was poisoning people about 10 years ago.
Ah, yes. Gascon Ghoul. Now there was a case.
Any theories or insights regarding the killer's motive or identity?
That's not really my specialty. If you want to get into that psychology stuff, you're better off talking to someone like Snelling.
Does it feel good to be out of the office?
As long as I have the chance to examine a body and learn something in the process, I don't care where I am. Though I do admit a preference to working in my own environment. Fieldwork can be a bit uncertain. There's so much more potential for contamination, especially with those clumsy officers trouncing about groping everything. Present company excluded, of course.
Edwards, did you notice McDonough's desk calendar?
I did. This month has been torn out. I asked the officers investigating the scene, and they had no idea what happened to it.
So it wasn't found in this room?
That's right. My theory is that the killer took it.
Which means there was probably something incriminating written on it. If only there was some way of knowing what it was.
Miles,
We can do
have
a
you
s-
forgotten the oldest
yeah,
trick in the
let's
book?
say, like-
Just find a pencil and you'll have that information in no time.
Edwards, do you have a pencil I might borrow?
Of course. Take this one.
Thank you. That's all for now, Edwards.
Good luck with your investigation.
A classic trick. Let's see if it works.
Oh,
Nice.
thank you,
Nice.
game. I was hopeful. Nothing. At least so far.
Do you know what the date is?
Don't think we saw... Oh, it would have been on the newspaper.
Yeah, I never pay attention to it. Oh, is there something written big here?
No.
Oh, okay, there we go. Ruby 8 a.m., T. Shackley 10 p.m.
You really want me to... Okay.
Intriguing. We'll need to find out who this Ruby is. Aha! McDonough met with this person the night of the murder. I'll bet 500 crowns it's a false name, but at least it's something. No time to waste.
My
Leave it
question,
to a
though,
politician to hang a portrait of himself in his own office.
was there a flower?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I don't...
History books and
Because-
political theory. I might die of boredom again. These appear
So
to
this
be
is a
books on
copycat killer.
cryptography. I suppose
Right.
everyone
They
can
won't know
tell.
about that.
Exactly.
We're gonna ask. That's a painting.
Fordham, how goes the investigation?
I'm making some headway.
Is that right? I certainly hope so for your sake.
I think I'm good, Hinton.
Yeah, you got a lot of way to travel if you wanted to bring it to me, so don't worry about it.
Chief Snelling?
Yes, Fordham?
Again, that is not how I expected his portrait to look.
What information do you have on the Justice Killer?
Clearly not as much as you.
I see how this is gonna go.
Well, what do you have?
A list of 5 victims, some information on each of them, and no clear idea what connects them. Until your discovery of the lily at each scene, that was where we stood. While I doubt this discovery will do much to aid in tracking him down, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Do you know anything about Percival McDonough?
He's a member of Parliament. I believe his constituency is somewhere in central Kingsland. From the reports I've gotten, McDonough led a rather unassuming life for a politician. He is, however, the first victim who didn't live in Chumley. Either there's a link we've missed, or the killer is changing his method.
Or it's a
Then again,
copycat.
since you seem so confident in your abilities to resolve this matter, I assume you'll provide an explanation.
Count on it. What do you know about the Justice Killer's previous victims?
Only what's in their files. All working men from Chumley. That's the only link.
You didn't look further into their personal lives? Maybe they had some social connection.
As I said, the detectives found nothing. You seem to think you can do better, so I'll leave it up to you.
You have to wonder how much more thorough the department's investigations would have been if the 4 men were all rich like McDonough.
So I see the department is still running like a well-oiled machine.
It is, in fact. But I'm sure Upton has kept you well informed of our activities. Incidentally, the woman accused in the Harris kidnapping is set to testify in court today.
Linda Walker's trial is today? That was fast.
Indeed. Sometimes the wheels of justice grind slowly. Sometimes they spin out of control. She'll be taking the stand within the hour. If you care to hear her for yourself, best get going soon.
Oh.
That's interesting.
About Leger's death.
I don't want to hear it, Fordham. What happened, happened. Nothing you can say is going to change my opinion on the matter.
And if I manage to find the man responsible?
The man responsible is standing before me. Even if you manage to find the culprit you let escape, it isn't going to bring Leger back from the dead.
But it will bring closure to the matter.
If that thought is what allows you to sleep at night, then so be it.
What makes him think you sleep at night?
Shut up, Bill.
Enjoying your new position, Snelling?
Reaping the rewards for years of hard work and dedicated service. A gratifying feeling you'll never be able to experience.
Oh, I get my gratification in other ways.
I'm sure you do, and I'd honestly rather not know about them.
I need to get back to my investigation.
Yes, time is not on your side, Fordham.
Let's go to the trial, right? Weird.
Yeah, I guess. I'm very intrigued by it.
Remind me, Miles, why are we here again? Is this for your own personal satisfaction, or did you expect her to have some useful information?
Shh. Mrs. Linda Walker, you stand accused of kidnapping Charles Harris. What have you to say in your defense?
I had to see if I could speak with my son Alexander again.
Yes. According to your initial statement, you seem to believe that the Harris child is the reincarnation of your own deceased son.
All the evidence was there. I thought it had to be him.
And in regards to the execution of your plan, you secretly administered a soporific drug to your friend and the Harris family nanny, Mrs. Henrietta Davis? Is that correct?
Yes. I felt terrible about doing it, but there was no other way.
According to your journal, you used a mixture of chamomile and valerian.
Who is Samuel?
Instructed by a Samuel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Samuel is a friend of mine. He works at the docks, and he knows all about plants. I asked him what the best combination of herbs would be to put someone in a deep sleep.
So it was your idea, and not his?
Yes, that's right. He only told me about the plants. He's quite the expert.
Oh!
You should see his collection of Easter lilies.
Did she just say what I think she said?
Now then, let's turn our attention to the night in question.
Interesting. This Samuel person might be worth looking into. Although we can't waste time searching the docks with just a first name. I'd make a note of it, just in case it becomes relevant later.
I did.
All right, I've had enough of this courtroom. Let's get back out there. Time's running out.
Okay.
Court supercut.
Yes, I was very excited on Secret Crush because I was reading ahead. I've been asking about who is Samuel and was he related to Bill's murder since we took that case.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about Samuel.
And there was someone that told the groundskeeper stuff in the first case too. And it wasn't her daughter. Anyway, all right. I guess we go to the only other new place, which is the Widows.
What? Who are you?
I'm Miles Fordham, private investigator. Your butler just announced me.
Oh, of course. Forgive me. I was just, well, never mind. Please make yourself comfortable, Mr. Fordham.
Thank you, Mrs. McDonough.
Just a painting of some boring old aristocrat. Surely this one was called Lady Felicity Euphemia Beaversnatch the Simple. Lord Alfred Edward Shufflebottom the Wise comes to mind when looking at this one. This one looks like a Lady Camilla Prudence Wigglewaddle the Grey. I think I'll call this one Lord Edmund Henry Lickspittle the Elder. They look expensive, but I bet they're totally worthless. I feel sorry for the sucker who has to clean them.
I appreciate you seeing me, Mrs. McDonough. I know you must be going through a difficult time right now.
What exactly is it you want from me, Mr. Fordham? I already spoke to the police about my husband's murder.
I just have a few questions of my own.
Oh, very well.
What can you tell me about your husband?
I'll tell you the same thing I told the police, Mr. Fordham. Percival was one of the hardest working members of Parliament. He took his job extremely seriously. The recent election caused him a terrible amount of consternation, as I'm sure it did most people. He took Atwood's loss rather hard.
Did you see much of him?
I beg your pardon?
Surely someone with such an important position in government could find themselves consumed by their work. Did he spend much time at home?
He made it a point to come home and have dinner with me every night, even if he had to return to the office afterwards.
Well.
And did that happen often?
At least 3 or 4 times in a week, yes. He'd stay in his office working late into the night. As I said, he was very dedicated to his role.
Sounds to me like she's quite dedicated to hers, too.
Did your husband have any enemies?
He was a politician, Mr. Fordham. Half the city hated him.
Did he ever receive any kind of threats against his life?
None that I was ever made aware of. I have no idea who could have killed him, let alone who could have gotten into his office to do it. He hadn't told me about any meetings or appointments this week either.
Was it his custom to inform you of his work affairs?
Oh, well, I've always taken an interest in my husband's
ask
work.
her about Ruby.
He'd often mention initiatives he was working on or people he was meeting, that sort of thing. Nothing sensitive or confidential, you understand. Just conversation about his day.
Can you think of any reason why your husband would have been murdered?
Not really. He was a vocal opponent of the construction of the Gascogne-Chumley Bridge.
Why?
But I hardly think that would have been sufficient reason to drive someone to murder.
Why is that?
Well, it's just a bridge, isn't it? There are plenty of other ways to get to Chumley.
I meant, why was he
Oh, because the amount of money required to build it is exorbitant.
That's at least
Public
fair.
funds should be used on roads and buildings that are falling apart. What's the point of having something shiny and new if everything around it is in disrepair?
That's honestly rather pragmatic.
How are you feeling, Mrs. McDonough?
My husband of 42 years was shot in his office. How do you think I feel?
Tactful as always, Fordham. How do you do it?
My apologies. Perhaps that wasn't the most appropriate question. Is there anything I can do to help?
You can start by finding the monster who murdered Percival.
Are you familiar with the art of cryptography, Mrs. McDonough?
What an odd question.
It's just I noticed several books on the subject in your husband's office.
Well, yes. Percival was interested in cryptography and secret messages and the like. He would sometimes leave me coded notes when we first began courting many years ago.
What kind of notes?
Oh, now, Mr. Fordham, those were private. But Percival got a thrill out of knowing I was the only one who could read them. Sometimes he would write them using a special ink that would only appear when the paper was heated. I can't remember the last time he did that, though.
Can I borrow your fireplace?
Do you know anyone named Shackley?
No, I've never heard that name before. Why?
I saw your husband had a meeting scheduled with him shortly before his murder.
That can't be right. He didn't tell me about that. He always told me about his meetings.
It was written on his office calendar, clear as day.
As I said, I don't know who that person is. Why wouldn't Percival have told me about their meeting?
Why indeed?
Are you familiar with someone named Ruby?
I can't say I am. Who is it?
Just a name that's come up in my investigation.
Sounds like the name of a trollop, or perhaps a dog.
Have you heard of the Justice Killer?
That was the name the police mentioned when they told me about Percival's murder. It's absolutely terrifying to think that one sick person could be capable of such evil. Why is he called the Justice Killer? What justice was done by murdering my husband?
I'm afraid I can't answer that right now, Mrs. McDonough, but I intend to find out. Those are all the questions I have for now, Mrs. McDonough.
All right, Mr. Fordham.
Fireplace. Heat up blank paper.
This actually works. I'll eat my hat.
Nice.
Dearest Mary, words cannot express the regret and sorrow I feel how I've acted last night. I swore to myself I would never harm you again after the last time, but I failed us both. It is my deepest hope that you can forgive me, and trust I will never let this monster out again.
Well, I'll be damned.
Eat your ghost hat. Eat it. Who's Mary?
Can we talk some more, Mrs. McDonough?
I suppose so, yes.
Do you know anything about this letter?
I'm afraid I don't have my spectacles. What is it?
The coroner found it in your husband's pocket. He gave it to me because he thought it was blank. But after you told me about your husband's propensity for writing secret messages, I decided to try exposing the paper to heat. Allow me to read it to you. Dearest Mary, words cannot express the regret and sorrow I feel for how I acted last night. I swore to myself I would never harm you again after the last time, but I have failed us both. It is my deepest hope that you can forgive me and trust that I will never allow this monster out again.
I see. May I have that letter, Mr. Fordham?
I'm afraid I have to keep it for now. It's evidence.
I suppose that does make sense.
Mrs. McDonough, did Percival mistreat or abuse you?
He wasn't a bad man, Mr. Fordham. I wouldn't have married him if he was. It's just the stress of his responsibilities would sometimes
don't explain
him.
Abuse.
I would try and offer comfort, soothe his nerves, but there were a few instances where he lost control of his passions.
Did he ever hit you?
He did.
How many times did this happen?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe 2 or 3. You don't exactly count these things.
What a bastard. Maybe it serves him right for getting shot.
Thank you for your candor, Mrs. McDonough.
Can we please talk about something else?
Those are all the questions I have for now, Miss.
Oh.
Well then. Another hotspot. Okay. I do appreciate a game that has a hotspot button. Nowhere new. That's interesting.
Nothing but a bunch of boring documents. These appear to be books on cryptography.
We did see that. I
suppose
forgot.
everyone. No time to waste with... Leave it to Apollo.
Oh.
No signs of forced entry that I can see. The murderer didn't come in through this window.
Alright, well... We go talk to Connie?
Not here. 24th, okay.
Open plate arms, opens arms.
Should have listened to you.
Not open plate arms. Kind of split arm. It's just, that's a weird drawing altogether. Huh.
What was in our to-do list? Find the killer, find out the identity of Ruby.
Yeah.
We have so few places to go.
Yeah. I am concerned that we did not find a flower.
Yeah. Do you think that's something we're missing?
I don't know. If you ever look at those documents. 6-7, I appreciate it. But I do recommend that you no hints. But you mean these? Yeah. Oh! No, we did not. But also, no hints, please. Alright. Victim, Hannibal Kirkland, got that. Single gunshot wound to the head. Ironworker at Thorabum. This is the one I couldn't say. Thoribum? Thorabum. Ironworks.
Sure.
Chamondale. Chumley. Police found Kirkland in his home after his foreman reported Kirkland's absent work. Nothing unusual was found at the crime scene. No witnesses came forward. Nothing that true. Reggie Williams. I was just checking the ages. Abby for Colson calves. Found missing after a report. I wonder if they'll all be like that. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Oh. They were all shot at home. Yeah, they were all shot at home. This is absolutely a copycat murder.
Right.
No need to talk to him. Every book and file in there is organized to perfection. I'll bet Snelling gets flustered if anything is even a millimeter out of place. You should bump into the side when he's not looking.
I was about to say that...
As always, the chief kept a bottle of something in a secret compartment in this cabinet. In Snelling's case, it's probably just water.
I was about to say that only robotspacer is allowed to give me hints, but actually robotspacer is outright able to tell me what to do or what he's discovered. Whoa, we're... Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So
okay.
again,
So
I
was,
appreciated 6-7, but no hint. Which do you want to go to first?
Heck. Ironworks. Because I like the little icon.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Well, that doesn't look good. This place
It
sure
doesn't?
is big.
Exploded?
I wonder if they actually make anything
Oh,
useful.
I see. Did not recognize what had happened there at first.
Excuse me, sir. Are you in charge here?
Unfortunately. Who are you? This area isn't open to the public.
I'm Miles Fordham, and I'm a private investigator looking into the murder of one of your workers.
A private investigator, eh? Then maybe you can help me out.
I'll do what I can, but I'll need to ask you some questions, Mr.
Mims. Sanford Mims. Go
Good
ahead,
name.
but make it snappy.
What can you tell me about Hannibal Kirkland? A former employee here?
Listen, I've got a lot on my mind right now.
I understand, but it's important to my investigation that you tell me what you know about him.
I'm sure it is, but as you can see, I've got a lot to deal with right now.
Well, he's no help. Maybe you can figure out a way to help him help us.
What happened to your iron mill?
What's it look like? The damn thing went and got blown up.
Was it in disrepair?
Of course not. All my machinery is sound, checked and serviced regularly. This is the work of those goddamn Redites. I'm sure of it.
What makes you certain the explosion was the Redites doing?
Take a look, boy. The whole mill got taken out. Even if this had been a mechanical failure, which it wasn't, the explosion would have been contained to a single part of the machine. This couldn't have been anything other than sabotage.
Have you had problems with the Redites before?
They've sent anonymous letters, but this is the first time they've actually carried out one of their threats.
You're absolutely sure this was sabotage, then?
Yes. How many times have I got to tell you that? Listen, you said you were an investigator, right? So find out who did this to my machine. If you do, I'll help you out with whatever else you wanted to ask me about.
Looks like we haven't got much of a choice. He seems pretty upset about his machine.
I'll see what I can do.
We'll figure that
I'll
out.
be going now.
Come back.
Be careful on your
I don't
way
imagine
out.
he'll actually tell us anything else about that. I mean, I guess we could check.
Mr.
Just to be safe.
Are you sure you can't tell me?
It's like I've told you.
Okay.
Are you familiar?
Who?
He's a serial murderer who's killed 5 men over the past 4 months.
Is that right? Never heard of him.
He may have killed one of your men. Weren't the police here asking about it?
Oh, is that what that was all about? I know they came poking around here a while back, but I was busy dealing with other things.
It's nice to see the lines of communication here are wide open.
How long have you been the foreman here?
Sometimes I think it's been too long. Things were so much easier before we got these machines. They keep saying they're supposed to improve our lives, but they've been nothing but trouble. I've already had 5 of my best men get mangled by some of them. And then
Oh
there's
man, wearing a
damn
hat
fools
with a beard.
blowing things up. My hair wasn't this gray 5 years ago, you know. I swear one of these days, I'm just going to pack it all up and retire. Let someone else deal with these damn things.
I'll be going.
Be careful.
Completely ruined. Whoever sabotaged this knew what they were doing. This place sure is big.
Employee. Okay.
Hey, that area is for workers only.
My apologies.
Where next?
Your pick.
We're already by, even though we have to go all the way around. Let's go to the bridge construction.
Safe for only 25 men at once. I used to draw the line at 2.
Do not walk close together, nor run, jump,
Excuse
or
me?
trot.
Hey,
Well, this
what are you
bridge
doing here?
is not
This is a
supported by
construction
anything,
area.
so yeah.
I'm Miles Fordham, a private investigator. I'm looking into the murder of a man who used to work here.
Fordham? You the same man who got Laura Dupre arrested?
Hell
Yes, that's right.
Ah, good to meet you. I'm Gerard. My sister Amelie used to
Oh.
work as her cook. Would tell me stories about how horrible Dupre was. Good to see some justice done for a change.
Glad to be of service. And good to meet you as well, Gerard.
So you say you looking into a murder? You talking about Bowditch?
Yes, that's
I
right.
think so.
I had a few questions for you, if you don't mind.
Nah, should be okay to talk for a few minutes.
Lots of good hats in this game.
You work with Ennis Bowditch, right? What
As
can
a
you tell
person
me
who
about
cannot
him?
wear hats.
Ennis
Lots
was
of good
fun
hats
to
in this
talk
game.
to. Always telling stories. Pretty sure most of them were made up. But it made time go by faster while we worked, and he made me laugh. We weren't really friends, but it's duller without him around, you know?
Do you know what Bowditch did on his off time?
Not really. I only saw him on the job. But I know he was seeing a woman. I forget what he said her name was, though.
Did he mention anything else about her?
Oh, sure, but I don't think they are the type of thing that would help you, if you get my meaning.
Right. Anything of a non-personal nature that might help me find her?
Yes, he mentioned she
Ooh.
worked as the servant
Oh my
girl
god,
at
it's
the
all gonna
Moon
come
Coffee
circle.
House.
I see. Thanks. Do you know any details concerning Bowditch's murder?
I only found out when the boss man told us.
Can you think of anyone who might have wanted him dead?
Well, everyone here liked him. I don't think he owed no one money or nothing like that. But maybe someone at his other job wasn't so friendly with him. Who knows?
Other job?
Ennis also
Thanks,
worked at the docks as a longshoreman.
Well, that would have been handy to know sooner. Better late than never, I guess.
Have you ever mentioned someone named Samuel?
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
Justice Killer? No, I don't know anything about that. Who is he?
A serial murderer. He's the one who killed Ennis Bowditch.
And you trying to find him?
That's the plan.
Well then, I wish you luck. Ennis didn't deserve to die the way he did. I hope that murdering bastard gets what he deserves.
So, the Gascon-Chumley Bridge is finally being worked on.
That's right. The project started up again shortly after the election. That Leroy, he's not wasting any time. Maybe a good thing for this city and for the country.
Indeed. I think it will be. How long before the bridge is complete, do you think?
They say it will take 5 years, but who knows? As long as the work is steady, you won't find me complaining.
Do you normally work in construction?
Mostly. Sometimes I be doing other jobs here and there. But I'm lucky to have gotten this job. I think it will keep me in work for a long time. Which is good, because I have 3 mouths to feed at home.
Be sure to watch yourself, then. I hear these types of jobs can be dangerous.
Oh, believe me, I know. One slip up and bam! That's the end of you. But I always watch myself.
How's your sister doing?
Good. She still works for the Dupre family, but with that monster Laura gone, she's much happier. She tells me the family is acting like the madame never existed, and the husband raised Amelie's pay, too.
That does sound like an improvement.
It's just a shame 2 others had to die for it.
Yeah.
Would you happen to know anything about the Redites?
I heard some of the other men talking about them, but I don't ask too many questions. Seems to me they just a bunch of angry and confused people with no other way to express themselves than lashing out. I admit I feel sorry for them.
You're not worried about Steam Tech putting you out of a job?
Nah. Machines can only do so much. You still need a man to make them work or to fix them when they're broke. I think them Redites are just making a big fuss over nothing.
Thank you, Gerard. I appreciate the information.
Not a problem, boss.
You have been exceedingly helpful compared to pretty much everyone else we've met so far.
I wonder if it would be any fun to tie yourself to that thing and go for a few spins.
What?
I think he means like the cord.
Yeah.
It did not sound like that. Yeah. Ooh, okay. Where would you like to go?
The coffee house. Let's follow up on that.
Yep. Wow, it's way less of a mess in here.
Asleep at a coffee house.
Begging your pardon, miss.
How can I help you, sir?
I understand you were involved with Ennis Bowditch.
Was involved, yes. I haven't spoken to him in nearly 2 months.
Oh, were you not aware of his death then?
What? Ennis is dead?
Well, this is awkward.
Well, shit.
Indeed. I'm sorry to have to be the bearer of bad news.
How did it happen?
I'm afraid he was murdered.
Murdered? By who? And why?
Those are exactly the questions I'm trying to answer myself.
Oh, I see. Are you a detective?
A private investigator, yes.
Well, I'll answer what I can. If it helps any, that is.
I'm certain it will. What was your relationship with Mr. Bowditch like?
Oh, well, it was nice at first. He was a proper gentleman-like. But then something changed.
Oh?
It's like I told Ruby. I think he might have got hit on the head at work, because he seemed to be a completely different person. He'd get angry for no reason. He even... Well, that bit's not important.
Huh.
At first, I thought he was just going through some rough times, but after a while I realized he'd changed for the worse. So I broke things off. He wasn't too happy about it, but I wasn't going to stick with a man like that.
This friend of yours, Ruby, did she know an MP named Percival McDonough?
I'm not sure. Ruby knows a lot of men.
Is that so?
Well, no, I don't mean... It's just... Oh, damn it all, me and my big mouth. She'll have my guts for garters now.
It's all right. No one's in trouble. But I think I'd like to speak with Ruby. Could you tell me where I can find her?
No. You see, she moves around quite a lot. Never in the same place for more than a night or two.
Right. I think she's given us a clear picture of what Ruby does for a living. Normally, I'd be all for pressing this girl more until she cracks, but I like her. I think we'll be able to find Ruby without causing her more discomfort.
Well, thank you for the information. You've been very helpful.
That's interesting because we had more questions to ask. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
Justice Killer? Is that some kind of pesticide?
No, it isn't. You've been working here for quite a while, haven't you?
I have, yes. Coming up on 3 years. Been a real pleasure getting to know all the regulars. They've come to be sort of like a second family. By the way, whatever happened with you and your lady friend?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, that nice lady you met in here a couple of times. Did it work out between the two of you?
Oh, that? No, that was strictly business.
Right. Well, if you see her, tell her I said hello.
I'll let you get back to work.
Thank you, sir.
Very interesting. I'm wondering if we're going to find out that these were all abusers. I want to go to the docks, but I feel like we need more information before we start opening that can of worms. Let's go to the lamp depot. What?
You there! What are you doing?
I'm Miles Fordham. I'm trying to find out about...
No time for that now! Get in here and shield your eyes!
No time for that now!
Just do it!
Okay.
What's going on exactly?
Shh.
Closed our eyes.
Everything ready, Alex? 3, 2, 1, go!
Let's see, Crush. She was talking about Connie. Because that was the, what is happening?
Oh, is this some sort of ethericity experiment?
Maybe. Or, like, the first real...
What works?
Etheric lamps! Our experiment
Oh.
was a success!
What exactly have we wandered into here, Miles?
Okay. So for Unsecret Crush's question, we met Connie at that coffee shop multiple times until case 4, I think? Case 3, maybe? No, case 3 we met her there. Oh, no. Case 3, she sent us a notice that, like, Adelaide had a notice for Connie saying, hey, you need to go over to this place. And then we met her at the police station from there on.
Right.
May I ask you a few questions?
Of course! What would you like to know?
You worked with a man named Burley Cause,
This is
that right?
Yes, I heard he was killed. Such a senseless tragedy. It's a shame he missed out on our demonstration. He was really interested in etheric technology.
Wasn't he concerned about losing his job to these technological advances?
He had no reason to. It's been made clear to all the workers that there will always be a place for us, even if our jobs are made obsolete. Unlike some other places, we take care of our own here at the Lamplight Depot.
How noble. But I'm pretty sure he's full of more hot air than the HMS Lenore.
Is there anything you know about Mr. Cause's personal life that might be relevant?
I know he was married, but I don't believe he had any children. Oh, and he used to talk about his love for fishing.
Could you give me his home address? Perhaps his wife will be willing to speak with me.
Yes, certainly. He lived at 820 Orchard Avenue, apartment 2A.
Thank you for the information.
Gonna be a big case.
Do you know any details about Mr. Cause's murder?
Unfortunately, I don't. The police were here asking questions, but they didn't give me many details.
Do you know of anyone who might have wanted him dead?
Not at all. Burley was very friendly, always treated everyone around here with respect. You know, it's sad to think that for all our leaps forward, we're still really just a bunch of savages.
Hold on a second, gotta scratch B's butt. Okay. She was standing next to my chair and just wiggling her butt the entire time, so.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
I've read about it in the newspaper. A horrible business. It makes me wish we could install more street lamps to keep this city safer at night. Someday, I hope to realize that dream. Then we'll really deserve to be called Lamplight City.
You think brighter streets will stop serial murderers?
It's well known that crime rates are lower in Lyon and Worcester, and they have many more street lamps per square mile.
I'm sure it has absolutely nothing to do with the amount of wealth in those areas. Has to be all about the lighting.
I mean, those things are related, Bill. Like, they're not unrelated. But the fact that they have more wealth is also probably why they have more lamps. The more lamps itself is not exclusively the reason for lower crime.
You mentioned something about etheric lamps?
Yes! Weren't you paying attention to our demonstration? You have just witnessed history!
What I witnessed was a blinding flash of light.
Exactly! That flash was the result of years of painstaking research and experimentation. It means that not only does ethericity exist, but it can be used as a source of illumination. If these experiments continue to be successful, as I suspect they will, we'll have etheric street lamps before the end of the decade. Imagine lamps that burn twice as bright, 4 times as long. Oh, this will change
I'm gonna laugh
everything.
if ethericity is
And
just
if it's like anything else
AC
we've
current.
seen, it'll put a lot of people out of work, too.
With all these promises of technological advancement, have the Redites given you any trouble?
Oh, those tech-fearing dolts. Yes, I'm sorry to say that we've gotten threats from them. They have yet to carry any out, which is unsurprising.
How so?
Groups like that are all bluster and no backbone.
I've seen some evidence to the contrary.
Is that right? Well, we've seen little beyond threatening letters, and I intend to make sure it stays that way.
Do you have any of these letters I might have a look at?
Yes, I have
I wonder if we
one.
go
I'll give
to
it to you before
back
you
to the
leave.
steel mill and or the ironworks and accuse the foreman of blowing the machines up himself.
What is it you do here exactly?
Oh, several things. This is the main hub of the city's Department of Illumination. It's really just a grandiose way of saying that this is where all affairs related to street lamps and public lighting are taken care of. But in addition to sending out lamplighters or mechanics to repair damaged lamps, we also do research into new methods of illumination. That's what my personal specialization is. I help develop and test more efficient ways of lighting our streets. I guess you could
heard
consider
of
me
neon?
a modern-day Prometheus. Yes.
More like an everyday pretentious.
Thank you. Your cooperation is
The
much
voice actor
appreciated.
had fun.
Happy to help.
Those are
Here's
great.
that letter you were asking about.
To the engineers of chaos and destruction, you are working in direct opposition to the natural order of things. These so-called improvements will be the downfall of our society. If you do not cease your unholy experiments, the Redites will be forced to take action. You've been warned. Yeah. What's Percival's last name?
Now that's
McDonough.
interesting. Whoever wrote this letter signed it with initials. They can't have been so stupid as to make themselves so easily identifiable, can they? Leave him to.
I was gonna ask if you knew anyone by the name PF. Percival, the middle name? Where to next? Got all sorts of places.
What's the carriage icon?
That is
Am I
the
right?
other murder that we've not been to
Cab
yet.
Depot. Why don't we do that?
Sir, are you alive?
A
Just
good old
napping.
reliable handsome cab. Nothing fancy, just gets you from point A to point B. The way it should be. Remember, a black eye is not a badge of honor. Anyone picking a fight will be dismissed immediately. Well, that's hardly any fun, is it? I thought about a career as a mechanic once. Glad I chose police work. Way less messy.
don't know about that.
Good evening.
Oh, it's you again. Small world.
Indeed, Mr. Shaw.
Oh, he was the guy that driving us the night of the
So, what
opening.
brings you around to the cab depot?
All full
I
circle.
wanted to ask you some questions if you can spare some time.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Oh no, this is the guy that was the painter's like burnt down house roommate.
Hmm.
Did you know Reggie Willingham?
Reggie? Sure, I knew him. Well, just as rather I didn't.
Oh? Why do you say that?
The man was a bore, a scoundrel, a no-good bounder.
I wish he would tell us how he really felt.
Only reason they kept him on here was because he was a good driver.
So it's fair to say you didn't like him?
Nobody did. When I heard he'd been killed, wasn't exactly a surprise. If I treated people the way he did, I'd surely have a lot of enemies.
Could you elaborate a bit on Mr. Willingham's behavior?
Oh, he was a proud one. Thought he was God's gift to mankind. Always strutting around, bragging about how many gratuities he'd earned or how many fist fights he'd won against drivers from Phillips. He had the shortest fuse I've ever seen, too. Just looking at
They're
him
all
the wrong way
abusers.
could set him off. I'd always laugh to myself when he'd brag about how many women he'd had in a week.
Why is that?
Because it was obvious he had to pay for the pleasure. A man like that isn't going to get a woman otherwise. I may not be a hit with the ladies, but even I know that being a bastard is a surefire way to drive them off.
Are you familiar with the so-called Justice Killer?
I've heard a few rumors here and there about some murders in the Chum, but I haven't paid them much attention. There's plenty for me to worry about in my own life.
Aren't you concerned for your safety?
Not really. Well, I haven't done anything wrong. So if this loony's going around doing justice, nothing for me to worry about.
He makes a good point. I think we need to get a better idea of what exactly these victims did to incur the wrath of our killer.
What can you tell me about Colson Cabs?
Not a bad place, really. Only problem is the number of people always coming here for work. Lots of folks think driving a cab is an easy job that anyone can do, but that's not the case. You need to know this city like the back of your hand, and it helps to know how to drive. So we get lots of fellas starting here who don't have the slightest clue what they're doing. They don't last long.
What about the automated cabs? Are those a problem for you?
I prefer not to think about those. Colson has said he's got no plans to replace his fleet, so it's all that matters to me.
Automated cabs. We got friggin' Tesla happen out here.
Are you still living in Pumblechook Place?
I am, sir. Things are more or less the same, except Roger's not around anymore. Suppose he must have moved on. Hope he isn't planning on coming back, because his paintings made for great kindling.
Oh, I have a feeling he won't be. Have you had any trouble from the Redites?
No, sir. They got no reason to give us any trouble, what with us still using horse-strong cabs. I imagine the fellas over at Phillips have, but I can't be certain. We don't deal with those a lot if we can help it.
I don't think interviewing anyone from Phillips would be a good use of our time. Our priority is finding the Justice Killer, after all.
I appreciate your time, sir.
Pleasure's all mine.
Did you find anything new? I'm talking with him? No. Oh, yeah. Finding out more about Reggie's personal life. But we don't have anywhere to go to investigate Reggie. Okay, well, we even can't go back there, so I guess we did everything we need to do there. Really calls. Yeah, sure.
Whose apartment?
This is one of the murder
in my
victims.
apartment was
Berlin
bad.
Koss.
The number's a bit faded. Is this 2B or is it not 2B?
Shut up, Bill.
That's the question. Apartment 2A. This is the place.
Odd for us to have a scene with
And I thought the housekeeping...
nothing to do with.
There doesn't seem to be anyone at home. There doesn't...
But we can go in the other door.
Yeah? May I help you, young man?
Hello, madam. My name is Miles Fordham, and I'm a private investigator. I have some questions about your neighbor.
You mean my former neighbor?
Yes. In any case, I'd appreciate it if you could help me with some information.
Nah, I don't think so. The last person to ask me about him was that awful policeman. I don't want to have to go through that again.
I'm sorry you had a bad experience, but I can assure you I won't give you a hard time.
Well, that's easy for you to say, but actions speak louder than words.
Uh-oh. I think I know where this is going.
Is there anything I can do for you then?
Well, since you asked, my layabout husband is out wasting our retirement fund with his drinking. Go find him and bring him back here. Then maybe we can talk.
Oh, wonderful. Now we're playing babysitter.
You'll find him at the Silent Raven. It's not too far from here.
I mean, it's not unusual for us
Good.
to go to
My
places
husband's
that
name
are
is Kurt
commonly
Williamson.
frequented in town.
You tell him
multiple
his
times,
wife Ethel wants him home at once.
I'll do my best, Mrs. Williamson.
All right, your pick.
I feel like we might as well follow up on that.
Still have the grate uncovered.
Looks like they haven't bothered cleaning this up yet.
Hey.
Excuse me, are you Kurt Williamson?
That's right. Who are you?
Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator.
Oh, yeah? What is it you want from me?
Ethel sent me to tell you she wants you to come home right away.
I should have known. I can't get away for more than a few hours before she's put the entire city on high alert. How much of my retirement fund did she waste on getting you to come down here?
I'm only doing this because I need some information.
The joke's on you, then. You can just go back and tell her I'll come home when I'm damn well ready.
Why is it you're so averse to returning home?
I enjoy going out and having a good time. Is that so wrong?
Your wife told me she doesn't like you spending your money on drink.
What I spend my money on is none of her business, and even less of yours. What's this world coming to when a man can't even drink in peace without all his affairs shouted from the rooftops?
You know, this whole situation seems awfully familiar.
Listen, Mr. Williamson, I think I know what you're going through.
Oh, yeah?
My wife and I were having a rough patch. I wasn't being honest with her, and it nearly drove us apart.
But you managed to fix things.
Yes, I was fortunate. I did the right thing before it was too late.
And what did you do?
We're not going to say that one.
It was simple. I just communicated honestly and openly with her. I told her what was wrong and how I was feeling. And you know what? She listened. Have you ever told Ethel why you like going out?
No. I assumed she wouldn't understand. I really wish she would come out with me, but I know she'd never agree.
How do you know? Have you actually talked to her about this?
Well, no.
Well, then maybe you should. If she knew you wanted company, she might just give it a try.
You know, I never thought of it like that. I'm going to go home right now and tell her. And if she refuses, well, at least I asked, right?
That's the spirit.
Thanks for the advice, friend. I really do
I
appreciate
like how
it.
this is resolved.
Not bad. I have to say, I'm impressed.
Wonder how that would have went if we hadn't told Addie.
Yeah, I kind of wonder
Hi, what do you need?
if our decisions throughout the game are affecting
like
the
what
ways we
options
can
we have?
resolve things in this case.
Now I wonder
And then-
if the mother, who was a voodoo practitioner, would have been like an alternate interviewee here or something like that.
Right.
Do you know anything about the man?
Not really. He comes in here a few times a week, but he mostly keeps to himself. I see his type all the time, though. Older, probably retired and looking to escape his home life. I feel sorry for him, but that sort of customer is my bread and butter.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
What is that, some fancy drink concoction?
No. It's the name that's been given to a serial murderer here in the Chum.
I see. Never heard of him. And if he's smart, he won't show his face around here.
You know, this place suddenly feels just a little bit safer.
How are things here now that the election hubbub has subsided?
Oh, right. I thought you looked familiar. You were the one in here asking about the fellow who was killed.
That's right.
Well, there hasn't been too much excitement since then. I've hardly had to toss anyone out, which is a right shame.
Why's that?
Kicking out a rowdy customer shakes things up a bit on a quiet night like this. Gets the blood flowing, you know?
What would a customer have to do to warrant being thrown out?
My general rule is if they're being a nuisance, they're out. If they try to pick a fight or are just being generally disrespectful, it's a one-way ticket to the pavement outside.
It's a good rule.
Good to know.
Why can we ask about that?
What was it you said a person had to do to get thrown out?
Pick a fight or just be bothersome enough that other customers complain about him.
Right.
This would be the other way to get Kurt to go home.
I appreciate you taking the time to chat.
Yeah. Interesting.
Pretty quiet in the streets of late, hasn't it, Bertie?
You noticed too? I thought it was just me.
I'm not complaining, mind you. It's nice to be able to go out and about without stepping over half the chum in the process.
Indeed. What do you reckon's the reason for it?
Not a clue. Can't be illness. We'd have heard something by now. Whatever it is, let's just hope it keeps up.
Wonder if that was actually important or not. We're going to say probably, because otherwise it'd be the first piece of voiced, like, incidental dialogue we've seen in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go back to his apartment.
Yeah.
Ah, Mr. Fordham, thank you so much for getting Kurt back home.
Don't mention it. Now, would you be willing to answer some questions?
Well, yes, of course.
Tell me what you know about Burley Cause.
He and his wife hadn't been living next door very long, maybe 4 months or so. But I didn't talk to either of them very much. They weren't interested in being neighborly, I guess. It's a shame, really. Maybe if we had known one another better, something like this could have been prevented.
Where is Mrs. Cause now?
I don't know, with her mother, maybe. That's usually how it goes.
You wouldn't happen to know where that is, would you?
Afraid not, but, there is one other thing.
He got
Yes?
hit, didn't you?
Don't say I told you this, but, well, I used to hear the two of them through my wall. I tried ignoring it since it's really none of my business, but it became impossible.
What was it you heard?
I don't believe they had a happy marriage. They'd have awful fights a couple times a week.
What would they fight about?
Oh, all sorts of things. The worst one was when she discovered he was going to a brothel. I think he might have hit her on a few occasions, too, but I can't be certain. I hope you don't think me a horrible old gossip, but I thought you might like to know.
Not at all. I'm glad you told me. What happened on the day Mr. Cause was killed?
I was here, at home, doing my knitting as usual. All of a sudden, I heard a loud bang. It sounded like a gunshot. I went and knocked on Mrs. Cause's door, but there was no answer. I did notice a smell, though, like flowers. Something seemed wrong, so I decided to report the incident to the police. Not long after that, an officer showed up and started asking questions. Awful man he was, so rude. I gotta report him, but I forgot his name. I think it started with a P.
Parsons?
Yes, that's him.
That's
He
not a
called for some
surprise.
more officers and they got into the apartment. That's when I found out Mr. Cause had been murdered.
How long have you been living here?
Well, Kurt and I moved in shortly after we were married, so it's been about 34 years.
Goodness, that's a long time to be living in one place.
Yes, well, the building may be a bit run down, and it gets colder than cold in the winter, but the rent has always been cheap. You can't really ask for much more than that.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
You mean the serial killer who's been killing men in Chumley?
That's the one.
You do, ma'am. You mean
never heard of him.
Mandalay?
What?
I'm just pulling your leg, Mr. Fordham.
I like this one. She's got spirit.
Unfortunately, I only know what I've read in the Gazette, but it's scary to think some maniac is loose on the streets doing such terrible things. And with Kurt going out by himself for hours at a time, oh, I don't like it one bit.
I appreciate your time, Mrs. Williamson.
Have a good day, Mr. Fordham.
We got a new... We did that. Is that still... Oh, because we were supposed to go investigate first. That's right. That's right.
I forgot where we learned about Ruby. I guess we still don't really know where she is.
We don't.
What you thinking?
So I was originally thinking like, oh, all these were reported by their employers, but that one was not.
Okay.
The only place we haven't gone yet is the docks. So
yeah, let's do it.
Blank surfaces don't stay that way for very long around here.
Huh? What? Who is it?
Hello, sir. I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions.
Go ahead, but make it quick. Time is money, after all.
Did you employ a man named Ennis Bowditch?
I did, yes. He only worked for me occasionally, but he was always punctual and performed his job well. I learned recently that he had been killed. It was a tremendous shame. Workers of his caliber are so hard to come by.
Good hat.
Do you have any information relating to Mr. Bowditch's murder?
I'm afraid not. The truth is, I knew very little about him. It's the same with most of my men. I have a business to run, you see. It affords me very little time to socialize.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
I believe I saw a headline in the newspaper recently mentioning that name, but I dismissed it as fear-mongering nonsense. There are more important things I need to worry about.
That the Justice Killer is directly responsible for the death of one of your workers.
Oh? Is that right? Well, there's nothing I can do about it. What my men get up to in their off time is none of my business.
Jeez,
wow,
dude.
This guy is even worse than you, Miles.
What does your work here involve?
I'm in charge of tracking and cataloging all the cargo that passes through here. I receive the shipping manifest and make sure that things get unloaded and sent to the right places.
And you do all this by yourself?
Oh, of course not. I'm in charge of administration. A team of workers does all the heavy lifting.
Thank you for your time. I'll let you return to work.
Right you are.
Trevor Hastings, is that you?
Why, Detective Fordham.
Hey, Trevor.
Fancy seeing you again. What brings you down to the docks?
I'm trying to track down a serial murderer, who I believe is the same man who was breaking into the flower shop.
You don't say. I wish I could help you, but the guy never came back after the night
to
you
know.
and your partner came around. Where is your partner anyway?
Oh, he's around.
Well, give him my regards. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get this crate back, or Cecilia will have my head on a platter.
Of course. Good seeing you again.
He's around? That's probably the most clever thing you've said in months. Well done.
That's... Sorry, I didn't mean to...
The chum. You can never truly get away from it as much as you may try. This sign could use a fresh coat of paint.
Interesting.
It's interesting.
It's just like We literally got nothing here.
Mm-hmm.
Is Upton there for us?
Let's look at all these pictures again.
Sure.
So, is there... there's a book missing there. I'm very sensitive to missing books.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's on the table.
Look and see if there's another. No.
I was wondering if it would be helpful to match these up with the names we have and kind of think about things more. Like, it seems like the information is too vague to...
32... Probably. Ennis was 29, so... Probably him? Who's the oldest? 47, 26.
Should have listened to your...
Yeah, it's...
Must have been a powerful shot to knock him
now he'll
backwards
actually
like
talk to
that.
us about it.
Bloody writing. This killer is one sick individual.
Okay.
That flower adds a nice touch to an otherwise drab apartment.
Oh, this might have been what he said
Too
if he
bad
wasn't
about the
pissed off
body,
with us.
though. Whew. Oh, that's not a pretty sight. Way to ruin a perfectly good wall. I bet that'll take ages to clean up. Interesting place for a flower. Mostly cookbooks. At least this poor slob got to die in bed. The justice killer sure is thorough, you have to give him that. Pretty flower.
Okay. Wonder if we can mention that they were all abusers.
Chief Snelling?
Yes, Fordham?
Have you got any information on the Redites?
The Redites? That ridiculous gang of troublemakers? Yes, I have some information. What's your interest in them?
A witness is refusing to speak with me unless I can figure out who sabotaged his iron mill.
I see. All I can offer is, but I remind you that you only have until tomorrow afternoon before this indulgence expires, and I throw you in jail. This seems like a waste of time.
That's my decision to make.
Very well. I'll give you the list when you're ready to leave.
I need to get back to my investigation.
Yes. Time is not on your side, Fordham. Here you are. This is the most recent list of known Redites.
This is a lot of names.
Aiton Ferguson.
If we're going to track down this saboteur, it might be best to retire to a more tranquil environment. Fancy a trip back to Upton's?
Thanks, Hinton. And welcome back.
Right. This should be a quiet enough spot to concentrate on finding that saboteur. I just hope Upton doesn't mind you turning her parlor into your own personal study.
I'm sure she'll have no objection. Now, let's have a look at that list again.
I'm gonna start getting out the red string
the initials
next.
match those on the letter we got at the Lamplight depot.
I'd say it's our best bet.
Yeah. I mean, we could click through these.
I think we can rule out Mr. Sullivan as a suspect. He's Western Vespuccia's problem now.
He's in prison.
Unless Mr. McKee has escaped from prison, which I highly doubt, he's not our man. Paris Wilson. Those initials don't match the ones on the letter. I don't think this is our suspect.
I'll go through all of them. But
If dead men could cause explosions, let's just say things would be a lot different. This clearly
it's called,
isn't the right suspect.
Oh, the walking simulator that Kojima made. What the heck was it?
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding, yes.
Lucian Donaldson. Those initials don't match
I
the
guess
ones
more
on the letter.
UPS
I don't think this
simulator.
person is our suspect.
Walking and staying upright simulator. Such a weird game. It was good. Oh yeah. It's interesting.
I liked it.
I had a good time with it, but I don't know.
Who's this lovely specimen?
Allow me to introduce Peyton Ferguson, known Redite and prime suspect in a sabotage at the Thorbomb
We just go
Ironworks.
and get him?
I picked him up and brought him straight to you.
Ooh, a
what?
saboteur. Just leave him to me and I'll
We don't
make
have
him
authority
feel
to make
right
arrests. Like
at
what?
home.
Please find the Justice Killer soon, Miles. Being Giles' prisoner is not my idea of a good time.
Right.
That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
I mean, if we asked him to come with us and he just came along, like, I guess there's no reason we can't do that.
I guess. Yeah, so I think I enjoyed the gameplay of Death Stranding. I enjoyed like building out the roads and everything like that. I think it was maybe a Kojima-led story that had the worst writing of any of his games. And an ending that happened 4 times.
I enjoy how ridiculous everything is.
Oh
in
yeah,
his
yeah. Like
games.
it was spectacle, but it like a lot of his previous spectacle made more sense. Now the trailer for the second one has a dude fighting a giant mech suit with an electric guitar. So like I'm signed up, but. I think the character moments in Death Stranding were
A
good.
word,
Though.
if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, what is it?
I found the
Sabotage.
person responsible for sabotaging your iron mill.
Oh, yeah?
His name is Peyton Ferguson. He's currently at the Bow Street Jail.
Hey, not bad. I owe you one, detective.
He
We
certainly
could have just
does.
told him. It's fine. Fine.
What can you tell me about Hannibal Kirkland?
Good worker. Mostly kept to himself. Real shame what happened to him.
Do you know if anyone here disliked Kirkland?
Enough to want him dead? Nah, there's the occasional scrap, but everyone around here gets along for the most part. Like I said, he mostly kept to himself. Head down, didn't bother nobody.
Do you know what he did outside of work?
No idea. I only ever saw him here.
You said Kirkland was a good worker?
One of my best. I knew something was up when he didn't show up for a couple of days. Don't think he'd ever missed work before.
Did he have any personal effects he kept here, or an area where he worked?
He had a cabinet downstairs in the workers' changing area, just like everyone else. You can go take a look if you want, but I don't think the police found anything.
Yeah, but it's probably
Kirkland's
Parsons.
cabinet
He's
is the
blind.
third one from the left.
I'll be going now.
Be careful on your way out.
That's ableist. Parsons couldn't find his way out of a paper bag. Go with that. Third from the left.
At least having a heater down here manages to keep things warm. I remember the changing rooms at the police station were always ice cold.
Something about tile just makes a room cold. I don't quite understand why. Maybe less friction for air? Gents, please stop shaving in the showers. Cleaning lady almost tore my head off. The drains can't take all the hair. Shit.
Oh.
Do we have any idea of something that would work for that?
I don't think we've come across any sort of numbers. There'd be something in the crime scene photo that might help us. Can you check out the shower while we're here?
Take a look.
I feel like that thing about the hair it seems like some kind of
there's
hint
someone
or
in
something.
there. If you weren't so bashful, I'd suggest joining in. You could certainly use it.
Alright, let's go look at the photo, like you said. Brass.
Mr. Mims, a word, if you wouldn't mind?
Yes, what is it?
Would you happen to know the combination to Hannibal Kirkland's cabinet?
No. Every worker sets their own combination, and I don't ask for it.
What happens if they were to forget it?
Well, have them come up with some sort of personal reminder and keep those in a file.
And do you still have Kirkland's?
I'll give it to you as soon as we're done talking.
I'll be going now.
Be careful on your way out. There you go. You're lucky I
Just
only
happen to
clean
have
up
it
my
on you?
files at the end of the year.
Yeah.
See, I always told you I wasn't disorganized. Just preparing for the future.
The shipwreck, the red and white, the sign. Huh.
3 days is the sign.
There was a ship with a 7 on it.
The red and white. I mean, well, we already know that it's 7 and 3.
3? What? The sign is 3? What is that referring to?
Outside there was a sign that said 3 days.
Okay. The red and white. Seven is the first one, right?
Was it?
Yeah. The shipwreck, the red and white, and then the sign.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Okay. So.
I mean, honestly, we could just try all.
Yeah, that's what I was
There's only
doing.
10
I just had
options,
the
right?
other 2 in the wrong place. So. Huh. It's also possible that's not a 3 and that's an 8 outside. Oh, wait. Hold on. Wait, what if it means that and then it means that? Yeah, okay.
Empty.
3 outside, 4 ticks on the
Not
sign over here.
completely empty. There's something at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Because the
Okay.
sign outside was 3 and 1. 3 and
Right.
red and white. Gilded Lily. Well refined ladies in waiting. All size. Petite, skinny, and buxom. Special. Present this handbill and 50 shillings for the normal 1 crown treat. Okay. Well, I think we're about to go meet Ruby.
It seems our friend Hannibal had a few extracurricular activities after all.
Gilded lily, huh? That's a bit suspicious.
Oh, that's actually
Such a
interesting.
pretty flower could cause such an inconvenience. The answer
Huh.
to that question is me, in case you were wondering. Flowers bring nothing but trouble. Trouble and snot.
That's enough, Bill. We need to get a move on.
Huh. Is it going to be that all of them had been to the Gilded Lily and had been abusive on...
Yeah.
Yes, the imaginary friend is being helpful again because we are on the way to solve his murder.
Well, hello there, handsome. Welcome to the Gilded Lily.
Am, are you
Come
wearing an
over
eye
here
patch?
and tell me what
think
kind
so.
of pleasure it is you're looking
That's awesome.
for.
I mean, well, I'm sorry, but
I'm afraid I'm
good
here
on
for
you.
business, not pleasure.
Oh, well, that's just a shame, isn't it?
I'm Miles Fordham, private investigator. And you are?
You can call me Serafina. I'm in charge of this establishment.
You won't mind if I take a look around or ask you some questions?
As long as you keep to the front room, you can do whatever you like. Beyond that, you're gonna have to pay.
Maybe it's best if you leave this part out when you tell Adelaide about the case later. Oh, my virgin eyes. What a charming statue. Wouldn't she get cold fetching water in that state of undress? You certainly won't find art like that at the National Gallery.
Pixelated boobs, chat. Sorry. That offends you.
Looks nervous. Wonder if this is his first time.
Trying to see if flowers are here.
I'm not too familiar with places like this, but I believe that... I think that room is reserved for paying customers. We won't be able to get back there without a good reason.
May I ask you a few questions, Serafina?
Of course you may, but I can't guarantee the answers will be free.
Great eye patch, great hair.
Do you know anything about the Justice Killer?
I'm afraid not, dear. I don't normally associate with killers.
Are you sure you don't know anything? He's the reason I'm here.
Well, I can assure you I know nothing about your murderer. If the trail has led you here, it's surely just coincidence.
Yeah, she seems awfully certain of that. It's a good thing we don't believe in coincidences.
Did you have a man named Hannibal Kirkland as a client?
I make it my practice not to learn the names of any customers here, Mr. Fordham. I hate to disappoint anyone who comes through those doors, but discretion is paramount in this business.
Well, at least you know you can trust these women with your secrets.
Ask about
This
Ruby
is a
last.
lovely establishment you have, and such a nice name too.
Thank you, my dear. It wasn't always called the Gilded Lily, though. We were formerly known as Le Maison de Tolérance.
What inspired the name change?
That's a bit of a long story. Not worth getting into.
How long have you been operating?
Going on 25 years. Business has been good. There's a reason this is the world's oldest profession, you know.
So, how did you get into this business?
Like many of the other girls, it was the best of some bad options. I had no interest in being beholden to a husband. I may be a fallen woman, but better to fly and fall than to have your wings clipped.
Do you enjoy the work?
It's a job like any other, Mr. Fordham. There are good days and there are bad days. But my girls are my family. We take care of each other. I couldn't ask for anything better.
Do you by chance have a girl named Ruby in your service?
Ruby? Yes, she's one of our newest girls. And she's not in any sort of trouble, is she?
Not at all. I merely wanted to speak with her.
Well, she should be in the dressing room. If you go through the rear door and follow the hallway down, it's the last door on the left.
I see. Thank you. Did you know Percival McDonough?
The politician? I knew who he was, but never met him personally.
He was seeing Ruby, wasn't he?
Not regularly, no. In fact, his first and only visit with her was yesterday.
Were you aware that he was murdered shortly after that?
I had no idea. How terrible.
Yes, it is terrible. This means she's lost a potential repeat customer.
Shut up, Bill.
Thank you for your time.
Of course, my dear.
Wait, yesterday?
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
Today's the 24th, so that's the 23rd.
Yeah.
I'm not too...
I would have knocked first, but okay.
Oh, hello. Did Serafina send you back here for me?
Yes, but not for the usual reasons. I'm a private investigator. My name is Miles Fordham. Ruby, I presume?
Yes, that's right. What do you need from me?
Just some information.
Well, I'll do my best.
Lily, 1809 to 1843. I wonder what happened to her. I'm guessing this is where most of the girls keep their personal belongings. Doesn't seem to offer much in the way of privacy. The girls here don't get much in the way of a dressing area. Still, something is better than nothing, I suppose.
So, Ruby,
Yes?
have you heard of the Justice Killer?
No, I don't believe so.
He's a serial murderer who's killed 5 victims, mostly men from Chumley.
Oh dear, that sounds dreadful. Is that what you're investigating?
It is. Do you know anyone who might have some information about him?
I don't. Sorry I can't be more help.
Did you ever have a client named Hannibal Kirkland?
No, that name doesn't sound familiar. Sorry.
Do you know Ennis Bowditch?
Bowditch? Didn't think I'd be hearing that name again.
As I understand it, he was seeing your friend, the serving girl at the ruined coffee house.
Yeah, that's right. Annabelle. She broke things off with him a while ago, though.
So she said. Did you ever know him to be violent?
Violent? The bastard nearly beat Annabelle's brains in once. Why do you think she chucked him?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
At least she had the good sense to get rid of him.
Perhaps we should go confirm this newly discovered fact with Annabelle.
Did you ever meet a man named Burley Cause?
No, I never met him, but one of the other girls had him as a client. I remember because she was laughing about his name. He wasn't very burly, if you get my meaning.
Right. Are you familiar with Reggie Willingham?
Oh, him? He had to be banned from here.
Really? What happened?
He got way too rough with one of the girls.
Oh,
She
man.
ended up shy a few teeth.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, apparently he wasn't too fond of boundaries. Good riddance to him, I say.
Were you aware that Mr. Willingham was murdered?
What? Oh, well, now I feel terrible for saying good riddance. I meant...
I think I know what you meant, Ruby. It's fine.
Is it me, or is there a pattern starting to emerge here?
Mm-hmm.
You met recently with Percival McDonough, is that right?
How did you know that? I thought he was meant to keep those sorts of things private.
He had your name written down in his calendar.
And you found me here based on that?
Well, I am a detective.
Suppose that's true. Anyway, yes. I only met him the one time. There wasn't anything remarkable about him. After we finished, he got all emotional about his wife, but I could hardly understand what he was saying. I hate it when they cry afterwards.
How long have you been in this business?
Only a few months now. Used to work at a kitchen, but then they brought in some of those new automated machines.
Sadly familiar story.
At least this profession isn't in any danger of being made obsolete by steam tech. Cold steel can never replace a warm touch.
Let's just hope that's true.
That's a rather nice portrait. Who's the subject?
Oh, that's Lily. Before my time. Serafina knows loads about her. Even changed the name of this place in her honor.
Serafina's the killer.
I'll just leave you to it then.
Thanks, love.
Or at least one of our misdirects.
It certainly seemed at the very least like, you know, people coming here.
Yeah. Then finding out that they're abusers.
Someone here is like giving information to the killer at least, if not doing the killing themselves.
May I ask you a few questions, Serafina?
Of course,
But I bet you she's getting the idea from a Samuel at the docks.
The answers will be free.
Could you tell me about the young lady in the portrait hanging in the back room?
That's Lily Peterson. She was a wonderful woman and a great friend.
What happened to her?
It's a rather tragic
got
story,
beaten to
Mr.
death.
Fordham. I'd rather not go into too much detail. The short version is this. She was with a client who got very carried away. She was able to defend herself enough to mortally wound the bastard, but the damage had already been done. The girls and I decided among us that we would rename this establishment in her honor. Some days it's still hard to believe she's gone. I haven't even been able to get rid of her box of things.
Maybe the killer
I'm very
is
sorry for your
sibling?
loss, Serafina.
Thank you, dear. It was especially awful given Lily's past. Her sister died at the hands of her own husband some 16 years before. Some people just can't escape tragedy, no matter how far they run.
Something tells me these deaths are significant. It may be a good idea to learn as much as we can about Lily Peterson.
Thank you for your time.
Of course, my dear.
Think her box of things are in the cabinet.
I'm guessing this is where most of the girls...
No. But try.
That's a nice locket for being such a cheap piece of jewelry.
That seems important. White Lilies 313-2213.
No lilies? Seems like a missed opportunity. No lilies.
Yeah, we already knew it was 1809 to 1843.
What is the current year?
Good question. We'll go look at the newspaper. I think it might have been 45?
Okay, I was thinking 44, but...
You might be right. You were right.
Okay, October 44.
So she died a year ago.
Right.
Which would be enough time for a sibling to decide to go out murdering abuser. But saying all that, I actually don't... Oh, yeah, let's go. Wait, no. I was going to say.
Begging your pardon, miss.
How can I help you, sir?
I spoke with your friend Ruby. She told me something quite disturbing.
What was that?
She said that Ennis had fits of violence, and that the reason you ended your relationship was because he hit you.
Why would she tell you that? That was my secret to tell, not hers. I thought we were friends.
It's obvious she cares about you and was worried about your well-being.
Well, it hardly matters now Ennis is dead, does it?
But is it true? Did he raise his hand to you?
Yes. It is true. As I said before, something changed in him. I have no idea what, but I had to get away.
I see. Thank you for your honesty. I'm sorry you had to experience what you did. I'll let you get back to work.
Thank you, sir.
There's also a possibility that this Samuel was doing something that basically, like, caused these folks to get enraged and cause the violence?
Yeah,
I guess we'll see. Violin. Where would you like to go?
I don't know. I could use a quick bathroom break.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a moment to stretch. Everyone in chat, please take this moment to stretch. How are you doing, chat? We're making good time. We started late, but I think we're on our way to the final case, or the final conclusion. I will check with robotspacer once he is back, but I feel like we should keep on going. I need to, remind myself to go watch the new episodes of Doctor Who. I'm very excited. I loved the Christmas special. The new Doctor seems wonderful, which is a trend that every Doctor since the revival has been wonderful. Not all of them had great writing, but the Doctors themselves were great.
Okay.
All right. So it is getting late. I am very excited to keep going if you're up for it, but otherwise I'm happy for us to... Yep, awesome. Hey, Saj! Give Saj a shout out. You did... There was no discourse. There was just me saying that I'm very excited to watch the new Doctor Who episodes. Where do we go now?
A great question.
You can check the docs again and see if it's there.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking docs also.
Keep up the good work, Mr. Hastings.
Yeah, Saj, I liked Jodie Whittaker a lot. I think basically none of her episodes were... I don't want to say that. None of her episodes were great. Some of it was still worth watching. I think Flux, the miniseries they did, was great, especially because it introduced dog people. But the...
No use bothering him.
So here's a... Oh, that... Okay. I was just about to say that I was not seeing what you were currently doing in the game, but then suddenly it fixed itself.
Oh, weird.
It was very weird. It was still showing me the map, and like you were still moving the cursor around.
What?
So,
that's weird.
Yeah, I don't understand.
All right. Well, let me know if it happens again. We got that.
Okay, I think it's still goofed up somehow.
Okay. I'll fix it. We good?
What? Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, I was just confused about where you were because I didn't see you go there.
Oh.
I thought we were still at the docks.
I wouldn't get too close. So this is the bunch of crap they used to build street lamps with.
So in our front yard, there is full-blown lamppost, but it is a gas lamp.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
It's disconnected, turned off.
Okay.
But it's just there.
Okay. Okay.
So I keep meaning to find a way, like, I want to get like a solar lamp that I can put on there, but the pole because it's a gas pole, like I don't know how to safely take it off the top, and because it's just turned off, it's not disconnected from the gas main, so I'm like, I don't want to mess with this too much.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
Guess let's go look at the.
No time
He's
to
still
wait.
here, huh?
Yeah. Also, who is Tim?
Oh yeah, we still don't know anything
It seems
about
the
T.
killer didn't
Shackley,
want
do
anyone
we?
to know about this meeting with McDonough, and possibly not with Ruby either.
Still need to look. Oh, you know what? We could go ask about Lily Peterson's murder. Yeah, outdoor gas lamp. It's full blown lamppost. Is connected to the gas main in this house. Like, even I wouldn't hate if I could turn it on like every once in a while and then just light it, but you can't. Like, it's disabled, and so
right.
Chief Snelling?
Yes, Fordham?
Do you recall a murder involving a woman named Lily Peterson about a year ago?
Lily Peterson? Yes, that name does sound familiar. Of course, the prostitute murder. That wasn't one of yours, was it?
No, it wasn't. Do you remember any other details?
As I recall, the woman was beaten severely by one of her clients, who escaped and was never found.
Oh.
She died a few days later in the hospital. How is this of any relevance, exactly?
That's what I'm trying to piece together. Did you know that Lily Peterson had a sister who was killed some 16 years ago?
I didn't. Are you suggesting that's related somehow?
Potentially.
I think it is. Would you be able to get me the case file?
What was the victim's name?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
That might be a bit more difficult, unless you can give me more details.
I'll try my best.
Very well. What year did you say the case was from?
16 years or 14 years ago. 16 years ago. So it'd be 28?
It was 16 years ago, so 1828.
Right. And who was the detective assigned to the case?
I don't know that. We don't know that, right?
No.
I don't know.
You realize that will make it significantly more difficult to find the file.
Perhaps we'll get lucky.
And what was the victim's official cause of death?
I'm gonna guess it's a shooting.
It was a shooting.
All right. I'll have a look and see if I find anything. There's nothing I can see that matches the information you gave me. I suggest you get your details in order.
Okay. Let's go go back to the Lily then.
Leave McDykel.
We've exhausted her knowledge.
So, Ruby.
Yes?
Serafina told me that Lily's possessions are still here. Do you know where they're kept?
Yeah, in that cabinet over there. Lily had a special place in Serafina's heart. I don't think she has the nerve to get rid of this stuff yet.
Do you think I could take a look through it?
Oh, I don't know.
Serafina never has to know. I promise I'll only look, not touch.
That's not.
If I had a crown for every time I'd heard that. But, all right. As long as you keep your word and don't take anything from the box, I'll let you have a look. I'll get it for you after.
I'll just leave you to it then.
Thanks, love. There you go. All yours for the browsing.
These don't look too valuable. A cheap ring. Must have had sentimental value because otherwise there'd be no point in keeping it. Nice scarf, impressively clean too. Lily clearly took care of her things. Let's see what we have in here.
Dear Barnett. Dear Miss Peterson, it is an unorthodox practice for a detective to maintain contact with the relatives of the victim after the case has been closed. The story has touched me on a deeper level. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help this difficult time.
Help you during this difficult time?
I understand. You decided to take it upon yourself to raise your son. And for that, I commend and respect your strength of will. Again, do not hesitate to contact me if there's anything I can do to help. Okay, well, there's a suspect.
And we have the detective's name.
Yep.
It's kind of
which
sick.
was
Lester, huh?
Buttons. What were the numbers you wrote down earlier?
Interactive. 3132213.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well now, I think we just found ourselves a bonanza.
On Lily. Oh, yep. All right. Well, I tried. God knows I tried. Couldn't let that bastard get away with his crime. I refused to watch you suffer the same fate as Mother. Justice had to be done. Snuffed out his life, just as he tried to choke out yours out of your body. All that stains this letter is his. As I write this, you're in a hospital bed, unconscious. I don't know if I'll ever be able to speak with you again. I am placing this letter in your secret place, and hope that you will someday be able to read it. In the meantime, I've discovered my true calling. I must dispense justice. Those who harm innocent women. I've seen the cycle of violence go on far too long. I lost both my mother and my aunt, violent men, and I must stop this from happening again. I spoke with Gloria. She told me she had been violated by one of her clients, an iron worker named Noble Kirkland. I'll observe his habits until the time is right to strike. As he is taken care of, I will find others to do the same until the wretched city is scrubbed clean. I need to send a message. Well, we took those letters. I knew we were lying. I knew we were lying.
So, Ruby.
Yes?
I found this letter inside a secret compartment in the box belonging to Lily. Do you know anything about it?
I thought we agreed you wouldn't.
This is a special case.
Damn it. Sorry.
This letter's from Lily's nephew, the Justice Killer.
Oh, I see. Look, I've only been here a short time. I don't know anything about Lily or any killers or anything, I swear.
You know, I think she's telling the truth.
I'll just leave you to it then.
Thanks, love.
Yeah, Serafina is who I'm thinking.
Yeah.
May I ask you a few questions, Serafina?
Of course you may, but I can't guarantee the answers will be free.
She also knew that Lily's killer got. Because she said that he was able to be mortally wounded. And the police did not know that.
Serafina, what can you tell me about Lily's nephew?
Her nephew? I didn't know she had a nephew. Lily didn't talk much about her family, as you can probably imagine.
You're not lying to me, are you?
I have nothing to hide from you.
Except maybe the truth. but I don't think we have what we need to make her talk. If there even is anything that would make her talk.
Thank you for your time.
Of course, my dear.
Yeah, we got the case details now.
Yeah, we need to figure out those details, and then that.
Chief Snelling?
We'll probably get her
Yes,
to talk.
Fordham?
Do we know the cause of death, though?
Millie Peterson's sister.
I can find it
beating.
for you, provided you give me enough details. What year did you say?
It was 6.
Right. And who was?
It was Lester Barnett.
Right. He was quite active in those days. And what was the victim's official cause of death?
Strangulation.
All right. I'll have a look and see if I find anything. Yes. Here we are. This should be a match. Have a look.
Ooh, a lot of information.
So we have our
Liam.
killer's last name and possible first name.
Oh, that's
Assuming
the
he's the same
husband.
man Linda Walker talked about. Perhaps it's time to ask about him at the docks.
It's Samuel. I was right. We found every single clue document in the game, too. Police were notified after a neighbor heard shouting and general commotion from the Collins apartment. Upon arrival, they found Daisy Collins in the living room with clear signs of strangulation. In the bedroom, they found Liam Collins. The apparent victim, a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. He's been doing this for a long time. Searching the rest of the apartments, officers found a young child, aged probably 4 years old, hiding in a closet. The child did not respond to questions and was visibly upset. Detective Lester Barnett conducted an investigation and determined that Liam Collins attacked his wife, likely under the influence of alcohol, and accidentally caused her death. On realizing what he had done, he used his own pistol to take his life. The child has been taken into police custody and is awaiting a transfer at an orphanage next to kin is looking. Why am I so excited about murder details? Because I'm pretty sure we're on our way to solving the final case and the first case.
No need to talk.
Okay. Do we go to the docks or do we go to talk to Serafina again?
Let's talk to Serafina first.
We've exhausted her knowledge.
Okay.
There's that.
You again? What do you need?
A few more questions, if you don't mind.
No.
Do you know a man named Samuel Collins?
Yes, I do. He's one of my workers.
Is he working today?
No, it's his day off. Why do you ask?
I'm very interested in speaking with him. Could you tell me where I can find him?
I don't just give out information on my men to strangers. What reason do you have for wanting to speak with him?
I believe he may be involved in some serious crimes.
Is that right? And what are these serious crimes exactly?
Huh.
Are you thinking he might respond more favorably to he's stealing from you, for example?
Potentially.
Yeah.
I chose all the other options. What would we like to choose?
I guess I mean, you saved, right? Like, I feel like surely choosing the wrong answer won't, like, ruin our chance of solving this case. So let's be honest and see how that
I
goes.
believe Samuel's the justice killer.
What? That's absolutely preposterous. You've got quite some imagination, sir. And here I thought you were serious.
About...
No, he's stealing from you.
I believe he's stealing money from you and your business.
What? Do you have proof of this?
No, I...
Stop.
Okay.
Crap.
About
He's
Samuel
stealing from the
Collins?
flowers that
Yes? What about him?
are being delivered.
You've made a rather...
I believe he stole from one of your
Okay.
customers.
What? From who?
The Hanbrook Flower
Yeah.
Shop. He stole several orders of Easter lilies.
The Hanbrook Flower Shop? They're not one of my customers. I only sell to wholesalers.
A minor detail. The point remains that your man's a burglar.
That's quite a serious claim. What proof do you have?
You can hear it straight from the man who works at the shop that was burgled.
Well, where is he then?
Wait here just a moment. Excuse me, Mr. Hastings?
What is it, Detective? As I said, I'm rather
Convenient.
busy.
I was wondering if you might help me with something. Could you please tell the shipping manager over there about the burglaries at your flower shop?
Certainly.
Go ahead, Mr. Hastings.
Right. It all started around 5 months ago. And he didn't come around again after that night.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings. That'll do. Now are you convinced?
Fine. I hate to lose 2 of my men in such a short amount of time, but if he's done wrong, I can't just stand by. Samuel lives in Chumley, at 210 Abattoir Row.
Abattoir.
Thank you, sir. You may have just saved several lives.
But I'm going to have to spend several crowns in order to get things back to normal. Now, if you'll excuse me...
No, cap rate. We are at the cap. Just reading my save names.
Yeah. Goodbye, poop gun.
No hinting. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Confronted the justice killer in his own home.
Samuel Collins?
Yes?
I'm Terrence Shackley from the Labor Department. I wanted to ask you some questions about your employer at the docks.
Oh, of course. Please come in.
He knows we're lying.
I'm sorry. What did you say your name was?
Terrence Shackley? But it's not my real name. I just used it to get into your apartment. I believe you did something similar at the Houses of Parliament with Mr. McDonough.
So, you're Fordham, the one who was snooping around at the Gilded Lily.
Indeed. We meet again, Mr. Collins.
Of course.
Yeah.
The rooftop. I'm sorry about what happened to your partner. It wasn't my intent for him to die.
Oh, he's sorry, is he? Is that supposed to make things better?
I suppose this encounter was inevitable. But I admit I didn't think it would be this soon. So, you're here to arrest me.
Huh.
What are you going on about?
I'm confused why they're giving us an option.
I mean, we can't really arrest him, can we?
No.
We're not a cop.
Assumptions are like souffles. Making them seems like a good idea, but they soon prove to be more trouble than they're worth.
Not to mention they're puffed up with air and deflate when you poke them.
So you're not planning to arrest me? That makes sense.
Arresting you wouldn't be proper justice. You've taken so many lives.
Oh, please. Every one of those men deserve what they got.
Are we saying we're going to kill him?
Why do you say that? None of those men killed anyone.
No. What they did was far worse. Inexcusable. Unforgivable. I had to make sure justice was done.
I understand your reasons, but that doesn't mean your actions were justified. You need to pay for your crimes, one way or another.
My crimes? What about theirs? If not for me, they would have gotten away with them.
There are other ways of upholding justice, Collins. Ways that don't involve mass murder.
The system is broken. Criminals get away all the time. You know that. Only too well. But you comprehend my situation. You understand my reasons for doing what I do.
Understanding is not the same as approval.
But it is the first step. Is this bastard really suggesting what I think he is? All I ask is that you allow me to continue my work in peace.
You asked me to look the other way once before, and I refused.
Yes, and it cost your partner's life.
Well, this time it's just you and me, and I'm still not going to let you off. You're out of your mind if you think I'm going to just let you keep killing.
Damn right, Miles. This has to end. Then you leave me no choice.
Oh!
Fordham, are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank God you're a better shot than I was.
So, this is our Justice Killer?
That's right.
I suppose congratulations are in order. You did well in finding him.
Thank you, Chief Snelling. I'm glad we were finally able to work together.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you weren't so brash as to confront him without notifying me first. Perhaps there is hope for you yet. Now then, I'll go get the other officers so we can lock down the scene and remove the body. Wait here.
Quite a night, hey, Bill?
Oh.
Bill? Are you there? Bill?
Whether it's from trauma or ghost. Either way, it is done. 2 weeks later. I wonder if that's the only way for that scene to conclude.
Yeah.
It's good of you to do this, Miles. Do you need some time alone?
If you wouldn't mind.
All right. I'll wait for you over by the sycamores.
Good to see you again, Addie.
So, it's finally over. I have to admit, it's been strange not hearing you all the time anymore. Never in a million years did I think I would actually miss it. But the important thing is you've moved on, and I got what I was looking for. I'm starting up my own private detective agency, you know.
Oh, rad.
Addie and Upton are going to be my partners.
Aww.
It should be interesting, to say the least.
What?
That
They're
reminds me,
effective.
I brought you a little something. It's not much, but I thought you might appreciate it. Thank you for all your help, Bill. I truly would have been lost without it.
I'm gonna speak to Hinton's question in chat. He didn't have an agency before. No, he was just a private investigator. He was technically not calling himself a detective. Now that he's got a detective agency, then he's kind of taking a step forward. I chose the last option. Which would you like? I'm gonna not highlight any of them to not influence. We did start with this one.
We gotta pick the last one,
okay,
right?
I mean, that's the one that we started, right?
Yeah.
Bill, wake up! Your grave is on fire! Well, I thought it was funny. Goodbye, old friend.
Yes! Inside joke trophy, yes!
Nice.
This was great. Heck yeah, perfect run. Hell yeah. Well, that was Lamplight City. This was a fantastic game.
That was very, very good.
I greatly enjoyed it. Francisco Gonzalez. I don't have his channel name.
Grunislav Games.
If you could throw it into the chat, it would be great.
I'll get it, yeah. Okay, just Grunislav.
We're not going to play do the bad decisions, but if robotspacer's up for it, I would love for us to at least do one more stream where we go through the intro to make a different choice and check out the commentary.
Yeah.
No, I will continue to hear robotspacer's voice for as long as he will let me. Okay, that makes sense. I somewhat knew the voice, but I could not place it. We looked up Al Pagano. I don't know if Lisa, but she did great. So yeah, we'll do at least one more. I don't think we'll go through the whole game with commentary, but I would like to at least go through the first real case with commentary.
I mentioned this to Unsecret Crush when we had a break. Just kind of wondering how long it would take to...
Because we know the truth.
Kind of do a speed run where we fail every case.
Oh. I mean, look. I'm willing to try it.
We could click through
the dialogue
that we've seen before.
Yeah. Maybe we do that with the commentary on.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I feel like we could do that in a single stream, right?
Sure. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Fail-a-thon.
Let these credits go through. Wow. Shelly did a lot of voices.
Yeah.
Chief Snelling's VA did a lot of voices. Good on these folks. Okay. That is why they sounded very familiar. I could not figure out why Guy Dumas and Chester LaFoy and Jimbo and Sanford Brooks. Right. Thomas Wynn is a voice actor and a person of color. So good on them for, if nothing else, finding someone that was able to do multiple voices. Or at least I'm remembering the right voice actor. I will retract my person of color unless my memory is bad. Oh,
well, now
cool.
I'm extra excited for Rosewater.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see what take they put on it. Especially if it... So, Bill still being around, or maybe being around, or being Miles's trauma, made it very interesting because it was still very noir, but it wasn't really a single person just talking to himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see how that plays out in Rosewater. For those that don't know, Rosewater is the sequel to this, being made by Grudislav Games, set in the same world, but basically in their version of the West. Oh, he's got a really cool water effect going on, reflection in the background. I've actually, in GDevelop, I've been playing with that. There's a reflection layer effect that you can use. And when you're doing a low resolution game, it looks really, really, really cool. But trying to figure out how to make it work on layering has been interesting.
Right.
Okay, I am going to skip all the special things. Well, that was wonderful. If you are interested in Lamplight City, and you would like to play it on your own, it is available on Steam. I think it's actually on sale right now. I can't remember why. Oh, because the Ludo Narrative sale that's going on.
Okay.
So, when is your next stream, Robots?
It's tomorrow.
Oh.
I kind of realized earlier today that I accidentally made plans to stream 3 days in a row.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Hey, we finished a game.
Yeah.
We did finish a game. Eventually, you'll be able to finish the game on Tuesday.
Eventually.
I believe... I think it is likely to happen. I'm not saying it will.
Could happen.
I think it is plausible to happen this month. I'm hopeful for you that it happens this month. For those that do not know, robotspacer is playing Malpiti Island, which is a wild game. If you like this, you might like seeing that. It is considerably more obtuse at times.
Yeah, for sure.
And a very different take on adventure games. But great pixel art, wonderful stuff. Very odd. Still fully voiced, sort of.
Sort of.
Very good. My next stream may be tomorrow, maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday. Definitely Wednesday, no later than that. I am still raising funds for National Bailout. I would like to hit that goal.
All right, yeah.
So I'm going to do another stream or so just doing fundraiser stuff for that. I might pick some other games if I can find a good fit. Other than that, I will be back on Wednesday at latest, normal time, 7 p.m. Central. We will return to another Crab's Treasure, and we'll be back on Saturday for another episode of the CDN with Lamplight City, and we'll play with the commentary on. We will see if we can avoid shooting Bill.
I'm so curious how that's going to go.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like he's going to throw Bill towards us and it's going to cause the gun to misfire or something like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling like some other type of accident.
Mm-hmm. Or like he'll just get thrown off the ledge and die. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So very excited to see that. And I hope you all have a great week. If you're watching live, stick around. It's late, but I'll raid someone. And if you're watching the archive, check something else out on the channel. Be safe and be kind to one another. Bye-bye!